welcome to Xena Warrior Podcast. My name is Vera, and I'm joined, as always, by my two strung-out co-hosts, Katie.
Hello.
And Livy.
Hi.
Sup?
We're strung out.
that's what you're very, like, you know, you're not, like, blissed out, like, hey, what's up? A Roman emperor is sucking out my immortality through my mouth.
Was that meant to be like a kind of like 90s club kid, like heroin is bad kind of PSA?
There was certainly a metaphor happening.
There was certainly a metaphor.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, today we are talking about episode 612, The God You Know. And it's a good one, I thought.
Yeah. I think this is an interesting one because, like, I was thinking about it, and I have so many problems with it, and some of them are major, major problems.
I know.
And yet I really like it.
Yes, I agree completely.
Isn't that most episodes?
No, it's not. This
Sure.
one is very messy,
Yeah,
but
it
it's
is.
like about messy people.
True.
So.
It's actually messier than I remembered. Like, because I just remembered it being really good and very memorable, but like the actual plotty things that maybe don't make sense or things like that. Yeah. That became clearer.
Yeah,
on rewatches.
In a way, it helps to really be watching it, like tracking all the various subplots that it's trying to tidy up, and it does a really bad job with them. But I don't even necessarily mean that. Yeah, like continuity issues, though it definitely has them. Like it's for me, it's like there are a lot of problems. This is a problematic episode.
Oh, yeah. Get ready for coins, you guys. This was extremely memorable to me, mainly because this was my favorite Aphrodite episode.
She's great here, I thought.
This is the Aphrodite that I've always wanted, and I finally get her.
Wait, explain what you mean by that. What does that mean?
Dramatic.
Oh, dramatic Aphrodite. I see.
Yes.
She had previously had her first drama episode in Motherhood, where she was really good. We were all fawning over how good she was.
Yeah.
So I love that they follow it up with like an even like more dramatic episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say this episode gave me the highest of highs. No pun intended, because of that strung out thing. But also like the lowest of lows when you think about those highs. And it's a little bit like sad.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah,
this is a roller coaster.
Yeah, and I'm still grappling with it. Should we get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. As mentioned, 612, The God You Know, written by Emily Skopov and directed by Garth Maxwell.
So Emily, her first episode was Heart of Darkness.
Yes.
Which is sort of similar in vibe to this, and there are a lot of references to it, as it's the previous time
I was
going to
say, oh no, that makes
sense. She also wrote the last episode of the Ring trilogy.
Okay.
Oh, right.
So we had issues with that. We had a lot of issues with Heart of Darkness.
She's really into
fun way.
Yeah, but she seems to be into
sexy dances.
Sexy dances.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get to it.
And always like to try to seduce men. I guess that's when sexy dances tend to happen on Xena, though. That's not specific to Emily Skopov.
Yeah.
And we have...
wait. Which sexy dance were we talking about? I feel like there is one good one, but it's not the one you think it is.
Are you talking about the Heart of Darkness sexy dance or
no,
anything
this
here?
episode?
I just meant like groups of people in like a Bacchanalia type of situation where there's like a lot of bodies doing weird stuff.
Sure, okay.
A lot of grape eating.
Grapes. You know it's like over the top with someone eating grapes.
Munching them grapes. So yeah.
Director Garth Maxwell has been directing since maybe season 1. I think season 1.
Yeah, he's got like all over the place.
Yeah, he's done them all. And I think this is one of his best episodes. I think this episode is just beautifully directed.
Right.
Agreed.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, even when some of its content is a big fail, you almost don't notice because of how well it's directed.
Yeah, it's true. Grappling with this up, guys. Grappling
It's
with
really
it.
good.
I like it, but I shouldn't because of the stuff. And then I wish the stuff was better.
Okay, I think we're going to get into it.
Okay.
Come on.
All right, so this ep begins with Xena and Gabs. They're in a field.
They're back with the pizzas already.
Yes, but like this is not a new information. Like this is not images that we have never seen before. Right.
No, we last saw them in whichever episode Livy did this in.
Right, exactly. So it's a bunch of dead people, and Gabs is shooketh, and she's like, Xena, what kind of animal would do this? And I'm like, well, Xena has done it. Her daughter has done it.
You have done it, Gabs.
Has she done it?
Well,
no,
not like quite
not
like this. Not of innocent
in like a
people,
gross
but she's
way.
certainly been in a situation of dealing past death in a sort of loss of control moment.
But definitely, like Livia's done it before.
Yes,
for sure.
yes, we've seen this a few times now.
Thankfully, Virgil's not here to cry about it.
Oh, shh.
But Michael is, right? I mean, he's not crying, but he appears.
Is not crying.
And Xena draws her sword, and she's like, what do you want, Michael?
Michael.
She's got a bit of an issue with him in this ep.
I know, yeah. So why? I have a lot of questions, to be honest, because I feel like Michael's whole presentation in this episode is very different from when we've last seen him. And he's been shady before. Like, he's a shady, manipulative guy.
He's been shady like once.
I guess so. He was especially shady in Heart of Darkness. But I feel like even in the
hell
Eve
needs
arc,
a boss.
I know, but he's like a shady, I don't want to get my hands dirty boss. But here he's like openly antagonizing Xena, which has not at all been their thing previously.
It was kind of flirty though, their dialogue.
I did not like it.
Oh, you saw
I
that
actually
flirtiness.
did not see that.
I did.
Yeah.
It's the like he likes it rough line.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
the
I
ugly
missed that.
hostility. Nah, I was not a fan.
Yeah.
But he's like very, I don't know, I feel like this episode right off the bat is like, this guy's a villain now. And I'm kind of like, what?
Yes.
We don't know why. Maybe that's what's making you
I
curious.
still don't see it. I still see him as a protagonist. I mean, so does Eli, because he's Team Michael.
Yeah, I mean, Eli's Team Michael, or rather Michael's Team Eli, but like, he's clearly not Team Xena, because literally he's like, it's okay that you hate me, like, I hate you. And you're like, what? Was this really the way things were left in Heart of Darkness? I thought he was only against Xena in Heart of Darkness because she was infected with the evil of hell. But now it seems like he's against her, even when she's normal.
I mean, he did want her to be Satan. And like, he was
but then
cool
he
with
also
it.
was like wanted her to, you know, trick Lucifer into becoming Satan in her place. Like
He
was
always
his
has
plan.
tricks, so we
Yeah.
don't know yet that he has tricks here as well.
Okay.
He has a motive that we don't know about.
I definitely feel like the episode is pushing the like Michael ain't great card hard.
So Michael's like, let's put our, hostility aside because desperate times call for desperate measures and I need your help. And he points out to all the dead bodies and he's like, well, that's the desperate measures here.
Yeah, very desperate. They're very dead.
And so Xena's like, who did this? And he answers, Caligula.
Dun dun dun.
And then goes through the Wikipedia page. Psycho, sex addict, and murderer.
And then Xena, is just your run-of-the-mill Roman emperor.
I thought he was
Which is
describing...
fair.
I mean, true, but,
Ish.
those are descriptors for Xena herself. Sorry.
Oh.
Whoa.
I'm gonna say it.
Whoa.
Yeah. She likes some sex, okay?
Okay. Yep.
So I immediately have questions.
Sure.
Yes.
Caligula, we are told by Michael he killed Tiberius to assume the throne.
Yes.
Tiberius is not Augustus. We've already gone through 3 generations
we skipped some
Roman
other ones.
emperors.
Yeah, we don't know what happened to Augustus.
Anybody have the same name that is then you could easily be I guess
Augustus
this is
Tiberius.
the other one.
Maybe nobody lives for very long in Rome,
yeah.
judging by the hard living that we see happening there.
All those grapes.
But that is a lot of Roman history that has just been fast forwarded.
I liked all the Roman history that I read reading for this episode that I promptly don't remember. It's too confusing.
Well, the whole thing with Caligula, what you were saying, Katie, is that it's like people actually don't know that much about him.
No, not at
but
all.
But all of the historical accounts are written by his enemies.
Right.
So he looks really terrible in them.
I think because he was, unpopular, as you say, when your enemies are writing about you, they're going to, like, say crazy things that maybe aren't true, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a Roman historian. I just know that, like, there's a lot of controversy.
Wait, you're not a Roman historian?
No. Oh. Like, my, like, knowledge of Caligula is, like, this episode of Xena and that movie that I've never seen that's really controversial
that was,
from the 70s that has a lot of porn in it.
VHS
is that Malcolm McDowell as Caligula? Ooh.
Ew.
It's already gross.
Abandoned countries.
Oh, right. Yeah. When I worked at Hollywood Video, I would always see the double tape sitting there.
So. And you'd be like, no, I can't watch that.
Well, I was like, ooh, maybe I should rent it with my free rentals.
I think the only thing I really knew about Caligula going in is that he made his horse a senator.
That might not be true.
And I think that's a lie.
Never did. Put a pin in it. We'll talk about the horse later.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Gabs is like, oh man, this dude thinks he's a god. And Michael's like, guess what, bitch? He is a god.
What?
And that's confusing AF. What's going on here?
So that is based on at least some of these not to be trusted historical accounts of Caligula, that he did proclaim himself to be a god. And this was a departure from previous Roman emperors who were only worshipped as gods after they were dead. He presented himself as like a living god. Mm. And I guess that made him unpopular, which I guess is understandable.
So that's like a new thing? No other emperor has done that before?
No.
Really?
But apparently common people loved him because
of the parties?
The parties.
Yeah, man.
Or like paying for entertainments.
Sure.
You know?
So Michael says this weird line here. I mean, he says that if he's a god, Xena has the power to kill gods, so he needs Xena to do that for him. Right? He says, the god of Eli gave you the power to kill gods. I mean, like, the god of Eli is his guy. Like, that's his boss.
Well, I feel like the whole way they're writing Michael here is very weird. Because, yeah, it sounds vaguely like they want you to, like, think of Michael as being separate from Eli and the god of Eli. I know, he's working for certainly the god of Eli, if not for Eli himself.
Right.
But, yeah, Michael has this way of talking as if like creating distance between his own agenda and the agenda of these other entities.
But his agenda is like legit. Like this is like, get rid of this guy who's becoming like a god.
So this is a reasonable request, and Xena is the only person around who can kill gods.
It's literally normal. I'm Team Michael.
Okay, all right.
And I have to say, this was like the sexiest Charles Majer has been.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you explain why?
I don't know. Maybe I'm into his evil smirking.
I find his outfit really goofy, like progressively goofier as it goes along.
They definitely stopped spending money on having those wings move.
Yeah, these are like some little baby wings. And like there was something going on, I thought, with the color correction of this whole episode. I mean, not in a bad way, but like the reds were so red. Like the red on Gabs' costume was like standing out to me, and like all the blood in this.
Well, maybe that's why they did it. They were like, make the blood bloodier.
There's a lot of red in this episode and a lot of green. Those are its colors because it's Christmas.
So Michael continues with the Caligula Wikipedia. It fills us in on that he killed his whole family, etc., to get power, and that he slays anyone who won't swear allegiance to his cult of blood.
That's fun. Who doesn't want a cult of blood?
Exactly.
What does it mean?
Very weird.
What is a cult of blood? What do you do with the old blood cult? Or do you just sit around being like, you got blood? Yeah.
I got some blood for you.
I got blood too. Cool, let's be in a cult.
Might just be a fun name.
Yeah, it's a silly name. I don't know, maybe it makes him sound even more like evil.
He does have people stab him a lot. So clearly it's like a BDSM club. That's what a cult of blood is.
Okay. And he wants his name to be in the history books as one of the great gods of the pantheon.
Oh, yeah, this is important. This is going to be important.
Extremely important.
His motivation here reminded me of what's-her-face, whose name I never remember.
Oh, my God.
From Succession.
Oh, the poor lady who wanted to be remembered
So once again, we have a character whose whole thing is, remember me. And the irony with Caligula, he actually will be remembered, but he's only going to be associated with, you know, all the decadent asshole behavior, not with the godliness.
So he'll destroy anyone who won't submit to him. Xena says, including angels, and Michael says, and followers of Eli.
This was sneaky of Michael.
Yeah. I mean, but it's legit. Like, that's, like, the number one thing that Caligula was, like, into killing.
Absolutely. I mean, you get the sense later in the episode that a lot of what's happening here, you know, Eve going up against Caligula, Michael is, like, pulling the strings on it. He's, like, pointing Eve in Caligula's direction, and he's pointing Caligula in Eve's direction.
Okay.
Michael's bad now.
I don't know. I think he's just a big-time backseat driver.
That's true. That's very true.
Like, he was like, enough with the sexy dances, Xena. Can you just, like, get in there, stab him, get out?
Come on. We only got 40 minutes to take care of this.
He wants her to take care of it in the first 5. That's what's going on here. So Xena's like, oh my God, you better not be doing anything to Eve. She says if she can kill gods, she can also kill angels.
I thought that was a real, like, dun 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 sort of a line. She is threatening to kill this guy.
How does she know? Maybe she can't. They're not gods.
That's
They're angels.
That's a very good point.
Good point.
Well, I don't know.
It's different.
You would
saying.
think.
You would
that
think.
makes them less,
Maybe
technically.
He's certainly afraid of her.
Yeah. Yeah, and we find out that Eve definitely is on her way to Rome to confront Caligula.
We should talk about Eve Watch.
Oh, yeah.
Eve Watch
Eve
2019.
Might be in this one.
It sounds like she is.
Is she here? She's certainly been mentioned quite a lot for someone who hasn't been in the show at all.
Confused about her location, meaning they've never known where she's been.
It's a little alarming.
Or, like, they knew where she was and she went somewhere else without sending them a note.
Well, she's clearly been, like, in, like, sort of like an itinerant preacher type.
Right.
So I guess she just wanders around now.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Well, she's in Rome now.
She in Rome.
And so
she's
are
an
we.
adult. She's an adult.
She's an adult.
She can do what she wants.
We are in the palace area, I assume.
I guess
that's their set.
That's it. That's all they got for Rome is this little town square type area.
And this is our introduction to Caligula.
Yeah.
It's a pretty grand entrance.
Mm-hmm. Pretty grand. He has his own hype man.
Oh, yeah.
Once again is reading from the Wikipedia page for us.
Reading from the Wikipedia is helpful.
Caligula rides in on a chariot, and he is dragging behind him 2 followers of Eli.
I love that he's, doing our old friend, the I'm dragging you behind my horse.
Yeah.
Connecting him to Xena, as you say, sex addict, psycho murderer, and lover of dragging.
Listen, put a pin in it, but that's why she understands him most. Okay,
there's this cool overhead shot of the dragging.
Oh, already?
Yeah, just of the dragging.
Yeah, okay, because there's a lot of really cool overhead shots.
There's a lot of overhead in this episode.
Yeah,
as we've said, Garth Maxwell, like this, he's bringing it. Yeah. There is so much style in this episode.
So he halts the chariot, and he's like, whoa, Domesticles to his horse,
Is
right?
this the senator?
So
senator horse?
I was like, this is so weird. Like, we're hearing, like, the naming of the horse, like, what's going on? That's not, like, the horse's name. The actual horse's name was Incitatus.
Who was the senator?
He never got made into a senator. I'm pretty sure that's legit. But if you Google Caligula's horse, that is a Australian progressive metal band from Brisbane.
That's a cool fact.
Yeah, but also, like, so this horse thing is for real. And that was definitely one of those things where, like, his enemies could have made that up.
What's his name, the horse?
Incitatus.
Incitatus.
Which means swift or at full gallop.
Incitatus 2020. I vote for him. Put him in government. Couldn't do worse than this horse.
So apparently the Catherine the Great horse situation is also a myth. Probably invented by her enemies.
Everybody loves to, like, spread rumors about people doing things with horses that they shouldn't. Okay, that's a thing.
So yeah, his horse was name checked probably because of this, rumor that he wanted to make his horse a senator. But he gets off of it, and he goes up and makes like a commoner stab him through his chest.
I mean, I feel like this tells you a lot about the character. A, that he's into this. B, that this is how he uses his seeming immortality.
Yeah.
It's just to ask people to stab him.
Well,
I feel like there's a vulnerability there, even as it's like clearly about showing how powerful he is. He's also like asking people to kill him.
Okay, I mean, I see your point there. It seems a lot at this area to be more about like, look, for real, he is a god.
Yeah,
like
you
gotta
can't
worship
kill me.
him. Yes, cannot be vanquished. So the sword goes through, and he's fine, and the audience is like,
What?
What?
And then he's like, kiss the ring.
Right. So that guy does, but this old man, he's like, no way, sir. And Caligula orders his death.
But before they can do that, Eve just literally just like plows into the middle of the conversation and is like, let him go!
Right. And so Caligula responds to that by being like, wait who's this? And
I love this
the guy,
so good.
dude, his Roman soldier guy there is literally Gary from V, and he leans over and he's like, that's Eve of the Elijans. So great.
This whole thing is good.
It makes me a little sad that how much the makers of Xena beat up on the character of Eve.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. Like, I love that he doesn't know who she is and sort of doesn't care once he does. It's good.
I mean, he goes further on to say that he was out of town when she was very famous in Rome.
Right.
As Livia.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love he's like, I would have enjoyed meeting the bitch of Rome.
Yeah.
And Eve has the awful line, well, now I'm the bitch for Rome.
It's so good. It's so good. It might be my favorite line ever.
Oh, boy.
No, I'm totally joking. Real silly.
Then Eve goes on to say that as the god of love's message spreads among the people, Caligula's days of tyranny will soon be over. And I was like, this is a weird presentation of Christianity, because, like, tyrants love using Christianity to, like, make the people submit.
Right.
But, yeah, in Xena, it is not the case.
What do you guys think of her outfit? She has a new one.
Eve?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the colors.
It's like Gabs's.
Yeah, it's very
India outfit.
Yeah.
With the traditional like Eve cape situation. That
Sort
she has.
of, yeah.
She always has like a cape thing.
I guess so, but this was more like sash. Like,
yeah, but it was like very Eve, I thought. But like she's in the green.
Yeah, I was surprised by
Gabrielle.
the green.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's Gabrielle, green and yellow. So yeah.
Not anymore.
Red. Blood red. Caligula is bored by her and by Elijah's, and he wants to kill them all, but he's interrupted by some familiar
There's so much happens in the beginning of this episode. It all feels like it moves very fast.
Well, speaking of moving fast, there's a chariot coming right at him.
There's a lot of stuff.
You're right, Katie, in that just like the cutting here,
Yeah.
like you see Xena rolling in on a chariot. Suddenly Ares is there.
Right.
Yeah, this
Like
was
saying, it's like
zero
there. What's happening?
explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah, his hair is bad.
Yeah, something's going on with his
It's
hair.
longer, and I don't like it. Gabs appears also in her like little disguise,
Oh.
a little cape and a little hat.
The hat is on for 1 second to like whips the hat off.
Yeah.
It's the silliest detail.
Oh man, my favorite is later when she has it on. I'm already jumping ahead, but when she's like, when she's talking to Aphrodite, and she's like, "It's me, Gabrielle." Aphrodite does not recognize her, so she takes the hat
Oh no.
So she's wearing like
Okay.
a booze hat from Aladdin.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That is
cute,
what that
I
looks
have to
like.
say.
You like the hat? I thought the hat
I mean,
was
she's
ridiculous.
just cute in it. There's been worse hats.
I mean, yes, that's true.
Yeah, for sure. Well, anyway, she's there and she grabs Eve and she's like, "Let's go, bitch."
We're going to the caves. I love that. She's like,
Send her to the caves.
where can we go? The caves.
You know they send everyone to the caves that they don't
caves.
want there.
I think that's where Eve is whenever
Yeah.
the writers don't want her
Yeah.
around. They just send her out to the caves.
So, I mean, the chariot, there's an awesome lady on it. we recognize the
She's
yelling.
Xena.
It's Xena. She has a mask, so we can't tell.
Dude.
Let's talk about this outfit.
Yes.
Okay, so favorite or second favorite that we haven't gotten to
yes,
yet?
second favorite to that.
Second favorite
to that.
I agree. But
It's pretty
so
great.
good.
It's pretty great.
Nonetheless.
Yeah.
I love the colors, like
Yes.
the gold and black.
The specific Roman Xena outfits are fantastic because they switch the leather to be black.
And then the mask. Masks can be silly, but
Not this one.
I did not find this one silly.
This one was sexy.
This is a real sexy
This
mask.
is all Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh my
type
god,
thing.
it is Eyes Wide Shut.
I mean, it's not really because Eyes Wide Shut is
With the beak.
The beak.
Yeah,
like
more. But it had a sort of like
Plague Doctor
Venetian carnival quality,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
when she has like the long velvet robe. I thought of that. I was like, it's carnival time, bitches.
It's just like everything's kinky here.
Yes.
That's what it's.
That's-
That's why it's
That's
so
the
good.
subtitle of the episode.
It's part of why this episode's so good. Like, everything is working. Everything works.
Except when it
Except for
doesn't.
sometimes plot doesn't.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything works.
Other than that, I love that Caligula's instant reaction to Xena rolling up is just like, I don't know who you are, but I like your style. And
Yeah,
it's
she
right.
flips out of there
Yeah.
and lands right in front of him.
That is the correct response.
So Xena, in response, grabs a dagger from her boot and she's gonna stab him when suddenly Ares runs up and tackles her, like football style, or I guess rugby.
That's confusing. Why do you do that? It's also fun to just see Ares like tackle someone because he's mortal now, and that's
True.
what he has to do to
Yeah.
get his way.
But she's like, Ares, what are you doing?
Stop
and
it! You're embarrassing me.
everyone is just cool with this whole thing. And
Yeah, everyone
like
just stands
looks
there and waits
and waits for him
to
to have
see
a
how this
conversation.
assassination
Yes,
attempt is
yes.
going to go down.
I mean, they have a very long conversation here before anybody does anything.
Absolutely.
He says that he can't let her kill his sister.
And
AKA
you're like,
Aphrodite.
what? Caligula's your sister?
No, Aphrodite is. Because they have this bond. So if Caligula dies, then Aphrodite dies. And right then, she appears.
Yeah, she looks boss.
I don't. This
You
is
don't
the
like
one
it?
thing. I don't like that with the hair wig thing.
I think it
don't-
looks so high fashion. I love it.
I don't like
There's-
how it's
yeah.
like little. I don't
She
like
looks
it.
like a statue, like brought to life.
I wish it was
Interesting.
just like really big hair with like big curls and stuff, and not those tight little blurb
statue
blobs.
curls.
I don't like them.
It's like the rolling pins. Or
I also really
Yeah.
like the makeup.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
makeup's
Yeah,
great.
they're
Exactly
doing.
me.
Yeah.
I suppose I prefer her second look, but I get what's happening here. I mean, she is made over Roman style. Okay. Very
She's
beige
Venus.
on-
She's Venus now.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Venus. Very beige on beige.
Yep.
So
Venus is beige. Aphrodite is pink.
yes, exactly. And I especially like how her eyebrows are kind of
Yeah, I thought that was just so cool. I mean, I think
Golden.
they are kind of trying to do a sort of like slightly strung out,
Yeah.
like heroin chic.
yeah,
quality to
it's specific
it.
hair and shit,
Yeah.
like from the 90s. Like I'm feeling some Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Yeah, that is,
Yeah.
I think, absolutely what they're trying to
Yeah.
do with it.
Well, yeah, she's like fucked up.
Yeah,
Technically.
she's just lying there, like very glazed.
Yes, and Caligula comes and takes her hand.
This is where it all like makes sense, but you're also like, why? Like, how did this happen?
A lot of questions.
But it doesn't really get answered,
No.
and that's part of the
I mean, or rather, it offers you a few different explanations,
Okay.
and all of them are dumb.
yeah.
But we're basically only told that you can't kill Caligula without killing Aphrodite. So
Which
now
is bad.
Right.
this is a moral dilemma, because
Yes.
that's what Michael has sent Xena here to do,
Right.
and she needs to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I like this conflict. I thought this episode had a lot of really great like twists and conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Turns for
it's juicy.
Xena.
It's
Yeah.
really, really juicy. Yeah, it puts. We love any episode that really puts Xena in a complicated position, and I feel like it's also interesting just because, like, you know, Aphrodite and Xena aren't close. Like,
No.
Xena's loyalty
But
to
Aphrodite
her.
and Gabs are.
Yeah. So this actually could have been a great situation where Gabs and Xena could have had a little fight.
Yeah.
All right, the fanfic.
Yeah, please. Okay, so finally Caligula's guards grab Xena and Ares. Caligula's not worried, you know, he's kind of like
I mean, he thinks
kinky and-
assassination
yeah.
attempts are just another great way for him to show off his, like,
Right, he's not worried at
naked
all.
and vulnerable chest to people, so it's fine.
Yeah. So Aphrodite comes over, and she has this moment with Ares here, where she starts touching him on the chest, and the hands are going lower, and I'm like, oh my god, this is fantastic. Some Game of Thrones realness.
And he's like, bad touching!
Yeah. Because it's like, ew.
Incest is bad.
Yeah, I have a note. Mama like.
Oh my God.
They went a lot further with this in the
Whoa.
draft of the screenplay that's floating out there on the internet. That was the original
How so?
Emily Skopov draft.
Tell it to me slowly.
She like has all these lines to him, and he's into it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'll be in my bunk reading that, thanks. So after that, Aphrodite starts draping herself over Caligula. And she's like, I'm bored. And he tells her to go get some rest, and he kisses her.
And we can tell that, like, something's up with this kiss.
Well, and Xena is...
Something is weird.
Yeah, Xena's reaction shots are like, she's like open mouth, like, buh?
She has to do all that under mask acting,
Yeah.
so it has to be with
big.
her.
Has to
like,
be big.
mouth. And like with her eyes, sort of, because you can see them. But yeah, that is happening.
So after the kiss, Caligula comes out of it like with a shiver, like he did like a line of coke, you know, like yeah.
That is exactly how this is being played. Yes.
So that was a great acting choice by Alexis Arquette, who is fantastic in this episode.
Like part of the reason this episode is so good is because Alexis Arquette.
Oh my god.
Maybe the best guest star on this show. Maybe.
Yeah.
I also feel like it's a big get for Xena because, like, Alexis Arquette has a pre-existing relationship with Garth Maxwell, so that's how she is now on Xena.
Yeah.
And, like, she's a big star.
Yeah.
And this feels like an episode that really is, like, built around her charisma.
I feel like at this point, Alexis Arquette was maybe like third Arquette. No,
famous wise
and
of the
famous
Arquette
wise.
to you personally.
Yeah,
No, being like
Wait,
David was
more than
first.
Rosanna?
Oh, Rosanna. Forget about Rosanna.
Yeah.
Patty?
Thanks to Harvey Weinstein.
Patty is obviously best Arquette.
Patty's best, yeah.
How can you go best? There's no best.
Best Arquette.
Patty. I was always team Patty.
You cannot rank.
It's like we can rank the Arquettes like we can rank
No,
the
no,
Cusacks.
No, right.
No.
Joan number one.
Okay.
Don't
What about
know.
Anne?
2.
John?
Fucking last. Fuck off, John.
Are there any mysterious other
Other
Cusacks?
Cusacks we don't know about? Because I think Vera would place them above John.
Yeah. He's
Well, I think
last.
at this point in time, I would have known her from The Wedding Singer.
Yes, very
super
memorable. Very
from
memorable,
there.
yeah.
Love that. I mean, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Is it bad?
Julia Gulia.
I don't know. It's so
I don't
good.
know. I remember this.
I remember loving it so much.
Yeah,
I just
it's
haven't
like
seen
the
it in so
only
long.
movie in which I can tolerate Adam Sandler, I think.
Oh.
I think.
Okay.
Do you think this is the direct line to Adam Sandler's birthday in which
Oh,
Lucy
right.
Lawless
Yes.
wore this Roman outfit,
Maybe.
which she took and wore out in public to
But
Adam Sandler's
it wasn't
birthday?
this one, right? It was the...
Oh, it was
The
the,
one
other
from
one.
the Bacchanalia, yeah.
Oh.
The even sexier one. And she was bowling in it.
Which is amazing. I hope she has photos.
I hope so too, yeah.
But yeah, like really like grounds the whole episode in like this really fun performance.
Alexis,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I
I
feel
think.
like it's a campy performance.
Yeah, but so
there's
is the
like
show.
a lot of pathos in it.
Yeah,
like it's
exactly.
It's a really good balance. Yeah.
I think I didn't appreciate it enough before when I watched it, and on this particular watch for the pod, I was really like in love with just the choices. And
Part of it is
everything.
it's so hard to get. I mean, so hard to get right. Like
I
this
guess.
could have been really embarrassing. I feel like Caligula is sort of an embarrassing historical figure.
We don't know.
Well, it's like
Who knows?
Malcolm McDowell and also Alexis Arquette
Yeah.
have portrayed this character.
Yeah.
I always feel like it's hard to cast like the big names, you know, like previously I've always kind of had a difficulty connecting to their choices of actors.
Oh, for like a historical figure.
Yeah. Yeah, like the
Interesting.
triumvirate was rough for me
Oh.
for a while, but then I got used to it.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
those guys end up being really fun, and obviously, you know, Kyle Urban.
Kyle Urban?
Yes. I did it deliberately that time. I don't only know his name is checks notes, Carl.
Yes. All right, well, Caligula orders his guards to go find Eve, and remember, she was sent to the caves. And he wants to question Xena, but suddenly Gabs jumps in. She put her little hat back on.
Yep.
It's showtime, guys.
It's showtime.
I love the way she sticks her hand out in front of Xena's chest and is like, stop.
Shut up. It's time for me to talk.
I'm doing something.
She's in character. Remember how she's very serious about her performance.
Any sort of
This
performing.
Felt like, I haven't seen this in a while.
It's true.
So it felt nice.
This is a nice callback. I agree. This reminds me of like the old Bruce Campbell episodes where everybody has to
embarrassing
like,
one?
put on a dumb hat and play a part.
See, those hats were way worse. This is a better hat. So she calls herself Cinda of Thrace, and she's the agent of the great charioteer Saba.
But she says it really funny. The way she says Saba, it's like, I don't know.
Not like how I just said it.
I don't know. She's just like, it's like she just thought of it and was like, Saba.
She wants to challenge him to a chariot race.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds fun. So I'm glad they're floating that early. Hey guys, would you like to see a chariot race?
Right.
We're gonna do one.
I mean, he just literally drove one in.
That's
so
true.
We know he rides
knows
chariots.
how to ride a chariot.
Yeah. So his interest is immediately piqued. He's like, "Ooh, okay," and then he says he loves tall girls as well. Pinches Xena's butt.
Uh-oh.
There's a sound effect.
Well.
That's what it would sound
fine.
like. Yeah. So he invites Saba to his palace to be his guest of honor until the race.
Okay.
Yep.
What?
Yep. Katie, let's do this. We're now in the palace, and how do you prep for a party?
Gotta take a bath.
Yeah.
Gotta
take a bath.
up in that little hot tub. This
Our
one
fave.
is a particularly interesting, funny one. Because you get your introduction before you see anything, it's like you kind of see their little heads. Mm-hmm. And you hear Gab say, like, that feels good or something.
Yep. She said the first line of dialogue is feels good.
Feels good.
Okay.
And then you just see Xena washing her feet.
Her foot,
and I hate everything about it. I fucking hate feet.
Well, that's not what could be feeling good. Who knows what's going on underneath the water?
Just washing her foot. Yuck.
Especially because their feet must be so
that?
Dirty.
Well, that's why they did it all the time in the Bible. It's very biblical. Very
Yeah, but I
biblical.
feel like that's not like what the context is right now. Right now they're just taking Anyway, so yeah, that's
Quentin
happening.
Tarantino would love this scene.
Because maybe for the LOLs.
This reminds me of when Legend of Korra, washed Gabrielle's feet. And she was like, ew, why?
Oh my god.
But yeah, Xena's like, I'm going to wash your feet, Gaz.
And she's like,
yes,
feels good.
please.
Yeah.
Well, that was more biblical than the other one.
Yeah.
This one is just feet washing. Anyway.
So Gab says feels good, but then Xena's like, it feels wrong.
They're not talking about the feet.
Or maybe they are.
She's like, I fucking hate Rome. That's what she's like.
This place irks me is another favorite line in the episode.
I like that. And I like that, Rome is so shitty that Xena doesn't even like bath time there. Like, it says a lot.
Yeah.
Aww. I mean, she's on edge, you know? She can't let Caligula kill Eve, but she doesn't trust Eve not to, like, fuck it up.
Right. She doesn't think
her
that Eve is going
here.
to stay in the cave.
And, I mean, yeah.
Right. That's fair.
She's right. I love this bath set. This is particularly
nice one,
good one. I think it's probably the same set as Gurkhan. It looked familiar with
Ooh.
the tile, the shape of the bath.
Interesting.
But I like how they do it with the rose petals.
Yeah.
It was very
extravagant.
Very sensual.
Again, the red to me is really like popping.
I like him.
And then you got the green too. Like Xena's towel is green.
Oh, yeah. We follow her out of the tub. She got that towel.
She got those legs going and walking around.
She's got her bath time hair, which I love whenever she puts her hair up for bath time.
Gabs reminds Xena that they need to kill Caligula without hurting Aphrodite. Because Aphrodite lives.
Yay, I love that ship still sailing. So they got to figure out what's the deal with this bond between the two of them. Xena delegates. She says that Gabs should go talk to Aphrodite at the party.
Right.
Meanwhile, Xena's going down to the dungeons to talk to Ares.
And Gabs is like, don't forget that you're the guest of honor. Don't be late.
Don't be late.
And Xena's like, yeah, I got this. And of course she's going to be late.
To me, this felt weird. It seemed like this was a moment of Gabs being jealous that Xena was going to talk to Ares.
Right. I don't know. My nose like, what's up with Gabs' face? What is she thinking?
Yeah, I was like, why are you still jealous? I thought we definitely covered
what
this
a weird
by now.
Thing.
Like,
what a
I thought
weird
you're in
thing.
OT3 now.
Yeah.
Remember old Ares had a farm? That was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
But okay, she's maybe just worried about Xena being late. Maybe Xena's punctuality has been an issue lately. So here's where you get the really cool overhead shot of Xena in this velvet cape, like sweeping off to go talk to Ares, and it's really cool.
Do you think her cape is velvet?
I think so. That was the sense I got from it. It looked velvety.
Like
it
the Saba?
Nice to
the
touch.
Saba look?
Yeah, the Saba cape. Yeah.
Interesting. I did not think it was velvety.
What
Because it
did you
moved
think it-
very easily later, like
That's
after
true.
the chariot race.
Maybe it's like, what is it called? Velveteen? You know, like that like fake velvet.
I don't know. Yeah, to me, honestly, specifically the capes. I mean, a lot of the looks look
It
like
looks soft.
what you could get from Amazon. Like how one time I dressed up as a Spartan from 300, and the cape was very like that.
I'm sure Xena got this look from Amazon. So,
So the party, man, the party is lit.
sort of.
Grapes.
I have
Lit
to
by
say,
candles.
I was slightly disappointed. This party was not as great of a party as the Heart of Darkness party.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Because you would think of Bacchanalia would be just like all out.
I thought the Bacchanalia back in Livia, bitch. Of Rome,
that was a good
pretty
Bacchanalia.
good one.
That really felt like you were in the club.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is more like you're in a weird conference room with like a bunch of like
Maybe
guys
it's more of
eating
a
grapes.
private.
Yeah, it's like a
party.
private event.
I guess
It
so.
is. It's like just that room.
You're behind the velvet rope.
Right,
So maybe
yeah.
it's not actually as great back there as like the celebrities would have you believe.
Well, there's lots of dancing, a lot of
Grapes.
Yeah, the gorging on grapes shot. Gotta have that.
Gotta. We see Gabs in her new costume now for Bacchanalia time.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, she's wearing this like baby blue bikini and matching.
Oh, right,
didn't
right,
notice
right.
it?
No, I
skirt thing.
didn't. I just the hat, man.
Kind
I
of-
drew my eyes to it.
Wow.
The way that there's like a really large like bed couch situation, and you see Caligula, and he's like lounging on it, and there's like a guy and a girl next to him, and like that's happening, and then Aphrodite's to his left, and she's like out of it, but there. So
Definitely
Gabs
there.
goes and sits there, and this kind of looks like what you would get as a painting of Roman
Decadence.
Bacchanalia
Yeah.
type or a symposium or something.
A lot of lounging.
Yeah, but you could see how they were like, okay, let's look at our book and let's make it look like this, which is a cool thing.
Yeah. Agreed. And this is the beginning of the really good Gabs Aphrodite conversationing that's
Right.
going to happen throughout the rest of the episode.
Yes. So she sits down next to her and she's like, Aphrodite, you're looking beautiful. You just seem a little different. And Aphrodite gets a little uncomfortable, like she like moves away from her a little bit.
Gabs is coming on strong.
So that's when Gabs takes off her quote unquote disguise, her hat.
It's me.
She's like, don't you remember me?
She doesn't.
Aphrodite calls her a butt-kissing parasite.
Yeah.
She also says you're being very familiar and is like grossed out about it.
Yeah, regular Aphrodite does that too later. Or qua.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that,
Put a
yeah.
pin in that for now. I thought her calling her a parasite was interesting because of what
he's
Caligula is
doing.
doing.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
literally living off her life
Yes.
force.
Oh man.
So it's like on some level she understands that, but like it's like insulting and being afraid of the wrong person.
yeah. She answers by saying, "No, I'm your friend."
She's gonna say that a lot too.
Yeah. And Aphrodite's like, "No, leave me alone." And she stands up, but she can barely walk, and she kind of like teeters out of there.
This is really sad.
Yeah. It's just
I
like,
thought the physical work that Alexandra's doing is really good.
She's so
Very floppy.
good. She's so good, you guys.
so good.
And the most beautiful she's ever been.
No.
And my favorite detail in this floppy hallway walk is when she breaks the new antique.
Yes.
Because Aphrodite hates that.
Yeah, you know that something's really wrong.
Wasn't it like Gab's like to get her attention once was like breaking shit?
Yeah, breaking her stuff from her own
I mean, obviously, like this isn't like her thing, but still, I felt very like anti-Aphrodite to break a vase.
Oof. Obviously, Gab sees that this is really messed up behavior, and she's very concerned, and she just goes, "Are you okay?"
Because I mean, what this really seems like is that she is inebriated in some intense way.
Something's wrong with Aphrodite. I mean, that's for sure what's like. So Aphrodite wobbles over. She laughs.
Right. She has this like almost hysterical. I mean, it is hysterical. Yeah. Like this giggle that she does through this scene.
And she says, "I'm wonderful. I've never been so happy." Again, just I can't say enough about this line reading. This was perfect. And then she tries to kiss Gabs.
That was exciting. I was certainly excited, but I was also sad that it was happening in this moment of kind of nervous collapse. Like, all of it is sort of sad. It's great, but it's also sad-making. Because I wanted this so bad that this was not the way I wanted it.
I know. This is a moment where my little heart did a little flutter for Aphrodite, because I was like, oh my God.
It's happening!
it's happening! But... obviously Gabs reacts like, oh my God, ew, bad touching. And then my brain went, is this equating this with incest? And that's such a weird thing for this show to do.
Well, she doesn't actually say bad touching.
No, but like she reacts bad.
She
and like the last time
like,
we saw Aphrodite do this was to Ares.
But then also Gabs is really concerned about consent. And she knows right now that Aphrodite's not in a good place mentally. And she doesn't want to take advantage. But also the episode is going to retcon this in a way that makes this bad.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make it good, but the episode is not helping me.
So Caligula notices that Aphrodite is gone suddenly, and he starts freaking out. He runs around trying to find her. Finally, he ends up in the hallway.
And I think at this, he like interrupts right when Aphrodite is going on and on about him.
She's like, I love him so much.
And this is where you get like kind of the other metaphor, which is that he's sort of like her abusive boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot going on in this scene for Aphrodite.
Yeah. So he like grabs her and she's like, oh, she's just tired and she's just being emotional. Don't worry about her. And then he remembers that Saba still hasn't arrived.
I know, guest of honor.
Oh.
Yeah, he gives her this really funny lecture where he's just, like, getting really annoyed at
like,
Saba.
Where is your Saba?
I love that line. Where is your Saba? So, yeah.
He does this, like, little snap thing, like, come on, get her here.
So where is Saba? Well, she's visiting Ares in the dungeons.
This is also a set that looked really familiar to me from earlier episodes. I feel like this is a dungeon that, like, I want to say Autolycus and Gabs were in.
Oh my God.
Somebody was in this dungeon.
Wow.
This is a very familiar set. But this time we just get poor Ares down there for now.
He's very concerned about Aphrodite, which I love that.
Yeah, I love seeing this side of him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The original script, this is honestly an Ares episode.
Oh my God.
He is the god you know, which they've kept the title but kind of lost that idea.
Oh no. I hope he didn't read that episode.
Wait, what does that mean then? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like a play on better the devil you know than the devil you don't. So better I think in that first draft, Xena says, better the god I know than the god I don't, meaning I'm going to trust Ares. And actually, she's like, it's really, like, this script is really, really different. Like the whole plot is different. And, you can imagine if it's like an Ares episode when he's barely in this final version. A lot of it comes down to, like, Xena having to decide kind of who to make a god again. Wow. And she's going to make Ares a god, which I was like, what? Why? Ugh. Like, she's kind of choosing between him and Aphrodite and just choosing Ares.
That's so weird.
It's a strange draft.
Huh. I don't like that
Interesting. Okay.
Well, here he's knights, and he's very concerned about Aphrodite, and I like him like this.
Yeah. He fills us in on some weird exposition that kind of just makes matters more confusing. He explains that Aphrodite's been losing her mind because without the god of war around, the goddess of love is unbalanced.
Right.
That makes no sense.
Because, like, they're two sides of some kind of coin.
I hate this.
No, it makes no sense.
Stuff from later, I feel like, that'll tie in.
That's true. There will be stuff later. But I hate the idea that you need war to have love, or vice versa. That's contrary to every other thing the show has ever said.
Yeah. Well, in their setup, they need to exist.
Just in a Greek god pantheon kind of a way. That's when you need.
I don't think you need that at all. I think it literally could easily be explained with Aphrodite, now being the only god left in the Greek pantheon, is freaking out.
Yeah.
She goes to Rome to, like, do what, she thinks...
To just find something.
Yeah. Like, she's drawn to this. I mean, like, you can easily do that metaphor of, like, bad boyfriend or whatever, and she's insecure. And
just self-destruction.
Yeah, self-destruction and, like, survivor's guilt and et cetera, and... I don't know. You don't need, like, oh no,
she's
Aries
become
makes her
unbalanced because of Aries.
Like, that's fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a situation where I think explanations only make things more confusing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're already wondering, hey, why does Caligula have these succubus-like powers? Which is, again, also not explained.
Not explained.
Like,
and, like, how did he first... discover this.
That he could, we don't know. It's a lot of, they're giving us a lot of information and none of it feels like the correct information for the situation we see, which honestly I would just accept.
I would totally accept
this
that.
is going on. Yeah. Aphrodite is sort of, she's like down and out in Rome. Yeah. That's what's happening.
He also says that Caligula is like the succubus and he's sucking her godhood from her.
I love that he's like some kind of succubus, which is so totally the writers just being like,
well, because they have other succubus.
We don't know what kind, but some kind.
They literally have other ones like in the universe.
This is one of those kinds.
Yeah. So that it's like, we can't let him have the full powers of a god, and Xena must stop it before it's too late.
But of course, Ares is still like, no, don't do that, don't stop it, because he's worried about Aphrodite. It is really cool to have Ares in a plot kind of being protective, which we haven't seen. Yeah. He's so often had these manipulative agendas about Xena. It's cool to see him just being like, no, don't hurt my sister.
So, meanwhile, Gabs has to stall.
No.
My note is just like, I have questions.
Yes.
Oh, man. She needs to stall and keep Caligula from leaving.
She says it's her world-renowned performance.
But then, like...
way to oversell it.
What did she say she was before?
An agent for a charioteer.
But, like, why does she do this, too?
Because in another life, she had a floor show with Saba.
Oh, my God. Apparently.
I hate this.
So she puts on this performance here.
Can you put a coin in?
Oh, yes, please. I thought you'd never ask.
You're welcome. What's going on? Why is it part haka?
Yeah, it's a sexy haka.
Why?
With, like, fireballs.
They should not do that, number one. Number two.
They're like, what kind of problematic thing has Renee not done?
Yeah.
So we have a haka, we have rope tricks, we have elaborate shield dancing.
Candles.
Cartwheels.
Candle juggle. Swinging.
And I feel like, again, Renee's amazing. Yes. Her commitment level is amazing. But I thought all the, like, goofy faces she pulls as she does this just make it worse.
Maybe that's part of it. Maybe, like, she knows it's deeply silly stall tactic.
I just don't understand how she improvised this, especially with the shields.
The character, yes.
Yeah, you're, like, 'cause she didn't think she would have to be doing this, and then... There was literally a group of men.
Extremely choreographed.
Yeah, it was extremely choreographed.
There's a rope that just happens to be there.
But the guys who hold the shields, like, how did they know?
They clearly knew. They clearly had been practicing that for a long time.
So this was the thing that happened. The best part of this was when Aphrodite got turned on. That was good.
Well,
that was good.
Seems to remind her of, she's like, this deeply embarrassing thing going on reminds me of Gabs.
I read was it this thing that I read what has to be a truly false statement from Renee, that she has no upper body strength?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, these are lies. We've seen your upper body, girl.
What? Because of the ropes and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was difficult.
I'm sure it was hard, yeah. And, you know, I mean, we've seen her process for learning these things. She basically does it, like, all of her spare time is used to learn these dances.
Yeah. Oh, we've seen this done on this show many different times, sometimes silly, sometimes not. This season, she did it really well in a very serious episode.
Yeah.
And so, like, this is a funny choice.
Yeah, it was so important to the plot in Gurkhan, and here it really is just thrown in just for the LOLs.
I mean, it makes sense with Caligula, though.
It does.
That's like,
obviously
all
need
about the
stuff.
LOLs.
But, like, it is funny that it's stalling. Caligula's sort of, like, politely clapping, you know?
He's into it. He loves stuff like this.
I think he's sort of like, all right, where's Saba?
Yeah, well, she appears. She's finally here. She finally made it. As she comes in, she's like, whispers to Gabs. Like,
she's so smooth about this. Yeah. She literally just plows up to Gabs and is like, did you talk to Aphrodite?
So Gabs is like, yeah, she doesn't recognize us. It's a problem. Then Saba disrobes.
Sure. Literally disrobes. Yep. And we get to see the Adam Sandler party outfit.
So it's this one.
It's this one.
And let's remind everyone the party was bowling. They did bowling in this. Yes.
Okay.
So there's a sexy music cue.
At the bowling?
Yes, obviously. No, here. And her tardiness is quickly forgiven.
It's very clear that he likes what he sees.
Yes. And she's like, to Caligula, I'm at your command. And he goes, careful, I can have some pretty unusual commands.
He says he has a test for her to see if she's worthy to race against the god Caligula. And the test is Ares shirtless. You passed! Congratulations!
He also comes over and like looks at her boobs and is like, wow.
Yeah, no, he's really happy with Adam Sandler bowling outfit.
Yeah, and he's like shorter, so he's like at boob level.
Yeah,
so
it's just right perfect.
There. So shirtless Ares in this one.
This whole scenario confused me a lot because it's the end of an act. Like, it's at an act break.
Right.
So, like, he's like, kill him! Ha 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 ha!
Yes, yes.
And you're like, oh no, she actually can, because she can kill gods, and also he's mortal, so. And then, like, when the next act starts, Caligula's just like, LOL, kidding? Or something?
No, because she's like, what if not kill him? What if sexy
I
now?
guess so. She never says the what if not kill him. She's just like, now it's time to be sexy. And you're like, what happened to the killing him part?
Yeah, she's
good at distraction.
She's very, very good.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Caligula is that he's very good at being distracted.
Yes. He's a very bored man.
Yes, yes. So she is like, ooh, we have an exotic floor show instead. Then Gabs quickly runs in.
Yeah, Gabs was like, did someone say show? I'm there.
She quickly runs in and like goes under Ares' arm. So he's like, we're back to the OT3 here from old Ares.
We've been working on this floor show ever since old Ares. This is all we did on the farm.
I mean, he had no shirt, so of course it's part of it. She's under one arm, Xena's under the other one. And Xena goes straight for the nipple. Yeah. That's her thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
Are you surprised?
Remember, sex addict,
I'm pretty sure she chewed on it in a previous episode.
She did, yeah. She did. Yeah, it was that one where her crazy long game.
Yeah, Amphipolis Under Siege.
Yeah. So she asked Caligula, like, hey, you want a little snack here? And he's like, ooh, I'm tempted, but no.
His reaction here is so weird to me because he gets really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is famed sex addict Caligula.
Right.
Yeah.
Being made uncomfortable by what exactly?
Right.
By Xena playing with Ares' nipple?
Snacking.
Yeah.
To me, this felt like a weird moment of them not wanting to do, like, a man touching another man on screen.
Right, yes.
Which, you know, considering how the show is becoming much better about giving us the, like, gay lady representation, why not have two men being sexy?
Right. This episode
with two ladies also there.
I mean, I know. Like, this is where what I mean about like the highs and the lows, where this episode seemingly gives you so much, but also not really at all because of how Caligula, the famed sex addict, like we can't have any kind of actual sex stuff anywhere. And especially the gay kind of any kind. Either it's Aphrodite being like, ew, to Gabs, which is like bullshit. But also, yeah, Caligula was sitting next to a woman and a man, and he was only rubbing like the lady leg. Like that.
In an earlier scene.
Yeah, that was, you know, clearly everybody being an orgy. There should be a lot more of that stuff going on.
Yeah, it feels like, and this was an issue I had also, I know people love it, but the dance in Heart of Darkness, I felt like it was kind of using lady love just to be titillating. But when it comes time to like, you know, commit, it's like, no.
But this episode didn't even do that. Yeah. Like this episode had hardly any kind of like even just titillation in that sense.
There was some foot washing.
That was not sexy. Like, it's crazy that Heart of Darkness was, like, you know, went further with an orgy than here with the famed sex addict Caligula.
What did you keep saying? Famed sex addict. It's funny. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I was like, you would expect this thing to be, like,
It feels cowardly. And it also, because of the cowardliness, it feels kind of exploitative. Because it shows that, you know, what they are showing you is not enough.
Yeah. I feel like
it's hard to do like Roman debauchery on a 8 o'clock television show.
It is. I mean, that was part of like Emily's.
That's why they got to do Spartacus.
I mean,
they need some Showtime. What is it? Stars.
Yeah, they really give no shit.
Yeah. I can't believe how far I got into this without mentioning Spartacus.
That's true.
I mean, yeah, this is like the G-rated version of Caligula, and
right.
You should be able to have him participating in this sexy floor show, which, let's be real, isn't that sexy. Like, he could have been involved.
Is Caligula, afraid of? It doesn't seem motivated in this moment. Like, there's nothing
it seems
in the
wrong
plot
for the character.
That's like
odd.
Like she hasn't. Well, in a second, like Xena hasn't bitten Caligula yet, so it's not like Caligula doesn't want to be near Xena.
He has no reason to be uncomfortable. No reason to be sort of. It seems like he's almost trying to protect himself. Like it's an interesting moment of vulnerability, but it feels unmotivated.
Right? Yeah.
Sometimes it's as if they're setting up that he can't be away from, or he's worried to be away from
Maybe they know
Aphrodite.
that there's lots of rumors, and the show is just kind of nodding at the fact that maybe Caligula wasn't a famed.
He was a big prude
and didn't want to be a part of this threesome. Was not interested in threesomes.
No, I think
one person at a time.
For him, missionary style. No, I think that
foursome.
My theory is that because they're dealing with famed sex addict Caligula, this episode would be under a lot more scrutiny by network and whatnot, so they were very worried about stuff.
Yeah, it actually becomes much more conservative about these situations.
So, gotta throw something in here and there to pull back when it's not necessary, and thus ruins things.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never, honestly,
with the Aphrodite stuff.
I'm gonna say I feel queerbaited as fuck.
This is, I think, I would definitely go in the queerbaiting column.
And I never really feel that way
Xena.
about Xena. Yeah, like any of the other stuff. Like this one particularly, upon rewatch, I'm sad.
I'm sad too.
All right, well, he backs out, and Xena then prowls over to him, and she gives him a little taste of what he's missing. Takes the masks off, and she gives him a kiss with a hard lip bite. Very kinky.
Very, very kinky, and he's into it.
Yeah,
he's like, ooh, sex addict, Caligula.
Yeah, he's like, ooh, you're a savage one. And she's like, you have no idea.
Oh,
she's like, I'm also a famed sex addict.
So this is so well done, I thought, in the episode, because you see that his lip is bleeding, but at least me as an audience member, I didn't put it together. I was like, oh, wow, cool. That was a real lip bite. Yeah.
I was like, whatever, you can have a lip bite, that's fine.
And I did.
And the scene just goes on. Like, it doesn't make a big deal out of this right away. You see it there, but it's not important yet.
And then you have this dramatic zoom on Aries and Gabs through the fire.
Yeah, I thought that was so funny. They're like in each other's arms being like...
when she like nibbled on his hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, this is what I'm saying. Floor show, not even all that sexy. And yet Caligula can have no part in it.
And then Xena slides back over to them, and Ares says, he's like, I fantasize about this scenario a million times, but not like this. She's like, enjoy it while you can, because in 30 seconds, all hell's going to break loose. And sure enough, in 30 seconds, Caligula realizes his lip is bleeding. You get these, like, close-ups of his, like,
the blood.
And I have to say, like, the detail of his fingernails being slightly, like, long and, you know, manicured.
True Roman decadence right there.
Yeah. And he freaks out.
This is such good acting.
So good. Oh, my God. He loses it, man. He loses any cool. It's his worst fear, right? That his amazing immortality is going to be gone.
He immediately orders that Xena should be thrown into chains, and then like turns to one of the guards and is just like, okay, you gotta stab me quick, stab me in the arm.
I feel like with the like having bled a little bit, could have just done a little bit less. Like, not gone full stab me through the arm.
He chose the arm.
Oh, you were like through the like finger.
Just a little slit, just like see, like a little slice. Just make sure it doesn't slice. Like, what if like
I think it's pretty telling you chose the arm, but not the gut as in last time.
Exactly.
I know, but you could still, even so, that would still not be
great to have an arm stab. Luckily, I guess, his immortality is still intact. And his reaction to this is even better than his original reaction to the blood. I love the laugh cry of relief.
Yeah.
I really love that line where he's just softly says, I still have it. I thought that was really human in its way,
Absolutely.
even though he's a god.
I know. Well, it's like new money, you know?
Then he sort of grabs his chest and is like, oh, my sweet immortality. And it's more extra, but it's still fun.
So Aphrodite wakes up. Because he, like, previously made her sleep in this weird way.
Oh,
like
yeah. He, like, does, like,
weird way.
he, like, rolls her eyelids shut.
Yeah, and he's just, like, sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And then she, like, passes out. So she's, you know, comes to here. She's like, oh, don't make everybody leave. You know, I'm, like, ready for this party. But he's not in the mood, and he backhands her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
So this is actually really cool, because now she's bleeding, too, from the backhand. They're both bleeding, these two gods.
Right, yeah. So he makes everybody leave, and then Xena gives him, like, this evil grin.
Yeah, it's like a smolder. Yeah, she's, like, kind of smug. Like, really just like, I see you. Yeah. You're embarrassing right now. And he has this great little, like, moment where he covers his bleeding mouth with his hands, kind of like he's embarrassed of it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. It just was clearly just like, you know, he's not even thinking about it. He just does it.
Right. And that's where you get the great cut. It's technically a wipe, though, from him bleeding to Aphrodite bleeding in a different room.
So she's also freaking out about it in a
different way. In her own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, again, amazing acting here. Like, I can't say enough about her acting.
It's so cool to see her, you know, this is a really complicated emotion to play. You know, a god realizing that they're mortal and they're going to die.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like she does a great job with this. It's genuinely upsetting.
Yeah, she's looking at her cut in like a little mirror, and she's with Gabs.
I love that Gabs is like soft touching her wound and like being so reassuring. It's very sweet.
She gives her a comforting face scoop. Okay,
a face scoop.
A face scoop. My heart.
Once again, she's like, you know me, I'm your friend, and once again, Afro just like can't.
I know.
She just can't. Doesn't hear it.
Yeah, so she starts talking about this, like, you know, big ideas that, like, yeah, this tiny little wound won't kill her, but, like, the next one will. Or, like, it's going to be bigger and the next one will.
This is the end.
Yeah.
I also love how the scene ends. I think it's so good. It's a really disturbing moment where she, like Gabs is still trying to talk to her, and she so doesn't want to hear it that she just tries to teleport out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And she can't do it.
Yeah,
she
like
sort of half teleports.
Yes.
Yeah, so you sort of see the little golden sparkles.
And there's like, oh my God, Gabs' reaction is like really good because she's kind of like, sweet summer child.
She's
like,
trying.
Yeah.
The sound design is also really good in this moment. You hear this like really disturbing rumble, just like of like unease. You're like, oh my God, you know, this is just something that we've seen in all the comedy episodes. Aphrodite snapping her fingers and teleporting away. It's really cool to see this device used in a way that's like dramatic and sad.
So Caligula has some questions for Saba.
I love the shot of Caligula, like, staring at Saba through the torch that's, like, in the middle of the room.
The fiery fire.
He's, like, framed by the fire, and he's, like, giving her this sort of, like, intense glare. And it's some good eye work by Alexis Arquette.
Yeah. He's like, how'd you make my lip bleed? And she says that she's immortal, like him. And I love how he was like, Saba, the charioteer, is a god.
Like, that's crazy. You're a charioteer. You said so.
And she's like, no, Saba, the Celtic goddess of sex, is a god.
Oh.
Okay, so you will be happy to know that Saba is a real Celtic goddess.
Okay.
But not of sex.
Oh.
Xena added that.
Because she's a sex addict.
She knows that Caligula would be into it, even though he didn't want to join her in that group sex scenario in the previous scene. So I don't know why she chooses sex, actually.
Who is Saba?
Saba is, I was reading about her. She's like an Irish figure who kind of transitions back and forth between being a deer and being a woman.
Oh.
That's cool.
Yeah. It seems like
but not in a sex way.
Not in a sexy way,
not a sexy
not
deer.
A sex and deers.
Just a regular deer. Okay. I love this line she has where she's like, now that she's come to Rome because now that the Olympians have met an untimely end, this is the perfect opportunity to spread my ... wings.
It's such a good line delivery.
Delivery by Lucy.
Yeah.
She has such a pause after that spread my...
Yeah, I wonder how that was written in the script.
That's a
like
good
if it was just written to spread my wings.
And she looked at it and said, I'm
like,
the Celtic goddess of sex.
So I'm going to put the ... wings. So she wants them to be allies. And then Caligula asks her what her powers are, and she says she has the ability to pierce the veil of immortality.
This is interesting.
Make gods bleed and die.
I think this is interesting because these are Xena's real powers.
Yeah.
Right.
And you sort of realize that Xena is a god.
Yeah, capacity.
That basically since season 5, Xena has been a god.
But she's not immortal.
That's true. But she has
powers.
Godlike powers. She is godlike. God-ish.
Like Hercules.
A little bit, like, yeah.
He can lift stuff good.
No.
A demigod, I guess. That's what you call those.
Yeah, that's what she is, a demigod.
Yeah.
So
But she
is
already
like
was, because Ares is
and
her
she
dad.
can lift stuff good. Like Hercules.
She lifts up good. She demonstrates for Caligula how she can flip it out.
This is where I was like, oh, she should have said her powers are flips and stuff.
Flips and stuff. I do flips. I do lines.
Yeah.
I have great hair and great thighs.
Yes.
She basically starts ragging on Aphrodite by calling her a rag.
Yeah. Dish rag.
A washed out
dish rag, yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, that was mean. She puts herself forward as this, like, much better alternative.
Right.
She's way hotter. And can
definitely
definitely
that
pull off that, like, high fashion wig situation.
She's chained around her wrists, and she wraps that chain around him and, like, is behind him, and then she starts, like, humping him.
Yep. There's a lot of, like, S&Ming happening up in here. But I love that, once again, he's, like, not into it. This one maybe makes more sense because he's trying to play hard to get with the whole let's be friends thing. He, like, kind of extricates himself from the handcuff situation.
She has this line where she's like, why don't you want to get with me? If you don't, you'll be known as Caligula, god of messed up freaks.
And he really reacts to this.
Yeah.
She hits a nerve. I'm not sure if she means to. This is sort of... I mean, this is interesting to compare to the end, where she sort of seems to have all this, like, sympathy for him. And here she seems to be alluding to him as this sort of non-normative figure and, like, in a way to, like, make him feel horrible. She's, like, using it as an insult.
And he's like, how dare you?
Yeah, it's a strange moment.
And then he's like, do you know who you're talking to? And she goes, like, this threatening way, do you? And then, like, does this crazy flip.
He definitely does not. He thinks he's talking to Saba, Celtic goddess of sex.
Yeah, exactly. So she does this crazy flip up to the ceiling, and she breaks her chains on this like chandelier made out of spears,
which is of course there.
Yeah, and kind of like lands, and it's like no big deal.
He flinches away. Another piece of great physical acting.
So good.
She says that her offer's still on the table, so he'd better think about it carefully. I make a very good friend and an even better enemy.
And her voice, my note says, is like caramel sauce.
Ooh, sweet, but too many calories.
Yes, exactly. So she walks out.
She doesn't only walk out, she sachets out, and then the guards are standing there with their spears crossed. And she makes those things uncross it like with so much style.
Well, because it was like as if she has like magic powers.
Yeah,
she
just
like lifts her arms.
Them.
And then exactly.
It's a great exit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we have like a scene with just Caligula.
This just kind of starts.
And
yeah, it's true.
Have we ever had something like this before where like the guest character has their own sort of backstory moment without any of our guys there?
I don't know. It's hard
like
to
a
say.
scene without a person?
Yeah, like have we ever had like Caesar by himself that's not like plotty?
I mean, he definitely has like sex dreams about Xena and stuff.
That's true. That's kind of like plotty.
Yeah, I mean, this is plotty in the sense that it's kind of setting up some stuff that happens later, but it's a very odd scene. You're right to single this out.
But there's always like goons have their own plot. What are you talking about?
Well, I thought this was like a big character moment. Like this scene is like, well, he has a mental condition because he is.
But it's also really ambiguous because at the end of this sequence, you see Michael standing there cackling.
But Michael wasn't doing like throwing voices.
I have wondered if he was. The way he's there made me feel like he could be responsible or somehow manipulating
just showed up at that right moment.
This is once again another nod to the historical Caligula, which we will never know if he actually had some kind of potential illness. Yeah, or I think that is true. That there is like that might be a true.
Right. I saw references that he had a physical illness that was really serious, and people point to that and say after that, then he was a different man.
Yeah, man. So maybe that's what. Maybe it was.
So people have all these theories that it was like some kind of meningitis, that he might have had like brain trauma from the illness.
See, look at how deep we're getting.
Deep.
That's what we do.
This is a fun scene. I don't know. Like, it sort of feels like it doesn't. I guess it kind of felt out of the blue to me in a way.
Well, in the sense that,
but it was just giving you this backstory of like, oh, there's something going on here. Either there's a literal ghost voice yelling at Caligula, or like he hears voices, which is bad, or Michael is doing tricks.
I mean,
we don't know, or all of the above, I guess.
I think it was just voices in it because it immediately made me think of that. Well, obviously, like Xena with the Furies, whenever she did that, and also in the ring where she was like, "They're laughing at me." Like we never found out about her mental condition there.
Who was laughing at her?
And
it also, of course, reminds us of Najara, who is the only other canonical character who has dealt with something that seemed to be mental health.
Yes. So I got immediate like sympathy for him here. I know he murdered his family. He's a sex addict, but still,
something wrong with
hearing voices.
Being a sex addict is not equivalent to being evil. Just putting that out there.
Just look at David Duchovny.
Yeah, exactly. It's an interesting scene. I think it definitely helps to give you a fuller picture of the character in that, this isn't necessarily someone who's like, trying to destroy the world. You understand that he's the product of some kind of intense trauma.
Right.
Like whatever his mom is talking about.
Right.
And it's also interesting, that he's being tormented by his mom's voice, but then we've also been told that he's responsible for killing his family. We don't know if that includes his mom.
A whole family.
Yeah.
We don't know. Everybody.
Yeah, that's what Michael said, that he killed everything that's left of his family.
Allegedly.
If you read about historical Caligula, he had so much shit go down as a kid because, The lines of succession are so complicated. Like everybody's adopting everybody as their like next heir and son.
Everybody
and
has
like
the same name.
People are getting thrown into prison. People are getting executed. People are conspiring against each other. And Caligula definitely did not have a very stable family situation growing up.
And then it has to be forever known by his little kid nickname, which is another thing that I didn't know.
That's true. Yeah, his real name is Gaius.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he wore little boots styled to look like military boots as a child, and those are Caligula.
Wow.
So that was his nickname.
Oh my goodness.
And he hated it.
Sorry.
And now that's your name for all time. So yeah, after getting these like, sort of sickening like snap pans, the camera's just
it's pretty over the top.
Going, oh my god. You like then have Michael there being like, haha, I'm standing over your throne laughing.
Right, yeah.
Which is a pretty sinister moment.
Very sinister.
And then Caligula says to Michael, what sort of demon are you?
Yes, and I thought that was really cool, calling an archangel a demon.
And this, to me, connects back to the title of the episode, The God You Know, which, again, play on the devil you know. It's interesting to switch devil out with God. It makes you sort of see what they're doing with kind of the Christianity plot, where the God who has been like the God of love, the God of Eli, is now becoming a much more ambiguous figure. Seeing Archangel Michael seemingly just tormenting a mentally ill man.
He was just there, man. He just was there.
And laughing.
Well, yes, he did laugh.
He was definitely there laughing. We don't know what else he's doing there, but laughing, number one.
Well, we know what he will be doing in a second, but so
the caves,
even the caves.
How are the caves doing?
Yep, they're being boring as usual.
Oh, jeez.
Just silently praying the whole time.
I guess so. Yeah. Otherwise, we just interrupted.
Yeah, they've just been like in a little circle.
That's what the Elijans do.
Yeah.
Did you notice that they're called Elijans here?
Yeah.
We had that whole conversation about what to call them.
What did we come up with? And when we forgot this.
I said they should call it the elites because they're little bitches.
And it's odd that they're the Elijans, considering his name is Eli, not Elijah. But
that's what that was when we were like, ugh. Yeah.
It's because they really love Elijah Wood.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yes. I think we were calling them Elites.
The Elites. I mean, in a way that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But so Michael does what I thought was an extremely creepy, not cool thing, which is he kind of wakes Eve up from prayer by touching her temples. Okay. I was like, that is very shocking. Yeah. No one wants to be awoken by like
seemed fine
fingers on their temples.
Yeah.
She wasn't sleeping.
That's true. But she was busy.
Meditating, I guess.
I mean, this was like him. It's kind of interesting. He's manipulating Caligula via taking advantage of his mental illness. And he's sort of doing the same thing with Eve, except it's her zealot
commitment to Eli.
Yeah. Yes. So
it's clear he's been grooming her saying, I'm ready. Clearly he's been telling her to do something for a while, and she's ready.
I mean, is it just him, or is it like Eli, or is it...
I don't know.
He believe.
We have Michael here kind of styling himself as the representative of Eli. And in a way, this to me feels very... relevant to like issues we're having now with like the Catholic Church, where like people who style themselves as representatives of the church like do not mean well, and do they represent the church anymore? Right. No, they have their own terrible agendas.
True.
And speaking of that, this is shot like a love scene. I was very weirded out. Eve and Michael. You get the kind of 2-shot in profile of them looking at each other. They're using the old Eli music. And as you remember, many of those scenes were Gabs and Eli being very sexy together. So I think they're going with that kind of energy.
Yeah, is it sexy? Is it creepy?
I did not enjoy it. I did. Mm-hmm. At this point, I was feeling very like Michael is not a good... Everybody stop listening to Michael. He is all up in places where he shouldn't be.
I still think, like, technically speaking, underneath it is good, like what he's doing.
I have
but in a very bad way.
harder time seeing that, especially now that we're getting to know more about Caligula. Like, it seems like Michael's whole agenda is this guy cannot be a god. He's terrible. And I'm like, I mean, he's not great, but, like, is this really such a huge problem?
It is a problem. Listen, okay.
He just wants to have his parties.
Remember how I said that Michael's main problem is that he will not let Xena drive? He's the backseat driver. Like, this is him again. He's like, I told her to kill him. She's been doing sexy dances.
Yeah,
like,
for like an hour.
Yeah, like it's time for me to do something here.
So he needs to put Eve's life in danger because he knows that will get Xena to act.
Exactly.
So he's playing both sides in this way.
So Eve is brought before Caligula, and, you know, she does her usual Eli spiel, love, etc.
This time she says truth and hope.
Oh!
I was like, no,
He
Eve.
doesn't know.
No, Eve. Don't do it, Eve.
Yeah, let go of lust and violence and open your heart to truth and hope.
He's like, no.
Yeah, he's like, lust and violence, yes.
Right, I'll stick with the status quo.
Yes.
Says.
So he has a little dagger, and he's totally gonna kill Eve, and she's totally ready for this. Like this, she's totally
She's
cool
been set
with
up for
this.
that. She's ready for martyrdom.
Yes.
Michael has prepared her.
Yeah, but suddenly there's Xena.
Oh, it's not funny yet.
Looming in the shadows.
Is it funny?
And she says, "Oh, fabulous." And Eve's reaction is so good here.
She's like, Mom!
She literally goes like, wait, what?
I mean, she doesn't have time to say,
Right.
She
Mom.
says what twice. She was like, what?
Well, why is my mom wearing a Halloween mask and not much else? And also, why is she here?
Yeah. And then Xena punches her out.
Punches her in the face.
Basically before she can, you know, give
she can go,
give the
what are you
game
doing
away.
here?
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. But I laughed.
I laughed too.
Yeah.
This is the thing.
No.
As much as the episode beats up on Eve and calls Eve annoying, I disapprove of it, but I find it entertaining because at this point, everybody's annoyed by Eve, so you almost just need to call it out. Otherwise, like, the storytelling itself is bad.
Mm.
So after punching her out, Xena's like, okay, I know she's annoying, but, like, what's going on here? Why are you doing this right now? And he's like, well, the demon with wings told me to spill her blood, and then my legacy will be the greatest of all gods.
And Xena totally clocks that, the demon with wings. Mm-hmm. She knows who that has to be, and she is not amused.
Yeah. And she's also like, you dumb, why are you killing her, the messenger of Eli, in private? That's real stupid. Do it in front of all the followers. And then your cult of blood is going to, like, be super popular. Lots of Instagram followers.
This scene then goes into this little moment. I guess it's after Eve is dragged away. You just have Caligula and Xena. And they do what I call the exposition tango.
Yes, I love this.
So good.
And she starts it with like a hilarious clapping. And then all of a sudden they're just tangoing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Because why not?
Yeah.
So yeah, we get it's very flirtatious.
Yes.
Like Xena's giving him a hard time, being like, why do you prefer Aphrodite to me?
Yes. And he's like, well, I just need her for one more kiss.
And then I'm all yours, baby.
Mm-hmm. And we cut to Aphrodite, and she's kind of like by this. Is it the bath?
It's the same bathtub.
Okay,
yeah.
so she's by the bath, and she's muttering something. I couldn't figure out what she's muttering, but like, it's almost as if she was saying like, "He loves me not." That's what I imagine.
Yeah,
her
sort
saying,
of this
kind of, like,
sing-song thing,
bizarro thing.
nursery
Yeah.
rhyme. Yeah.
She's not doing great here.
Once again, Gabs is like, "Hey, I'm your friend." God, we could have a great drinking game. Let's just drink for Gabs saying, "Aphrodite, I'm your friend."
And Aphrodite's like, "I've never seen you before," and she threatens to turn her into a mosquito.
And my immediate reaction to that was like, "Could she even?"
At this point,
I don't think she never even had those powers.
Mosquito powers.
Yeah.
I think she probably could have if she wanted to.
I don't know.
But this again is another reference to parasites, to
mosquitoes.
bloodsuckers.
Ooh. Well, Gabs points out that she could have done that hours ago, but she didn't because you know me. Hearts.
I'm your friend. Gab says that Aphrodite is giving up her identity to some maniac you claim to love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a pretty powerful line.
It's a powerful line. Again, feels like it's more a part of the kind of abusive, like, partner storyline.
She's not doing it, like, willingly. It's happening to her.
Yeah, it's hard to say. She definitely doesn't.
How it started. That's why it's like.
It does seem like she's a part of it, but yeah, she's forgotten.
But she's not like. There's no way she came here and was like, cool, I'm gonna, like, you're gonna make me forget everything that's
please
cool.
suck out my god powers.
That's part of the problem with this episode, is we don't know anything about how any of this started.
Yeah.
And how, like...
But it's clearly, like, this is a byproduct of what's going on. Like, I feel like it started out great, and then, you know, he started... I don't know how he got the power to begin this. That's the problem.
From her would be the...
There's no way she was giving up her stuff.
There's no way we could figure it out either. So
like, it's such a chicken-egg situation.
And, like, it also doesn't really make sense of her being... Like, losing her power slowly would make her forget things.
Right.
Like, that's weird.
It is weird. It makes some kind of... I don't know, emotional sense. Like, I am so moved by it. And it definitely feels like the right choice. Like, if you look actually at the first draft of the script that I've been referring to, like, that's not there. She's sort of just, I don't know, she has these mood swings in it, really. She kind of goes from being her usual sort of, you know, catty self to being just sort of, like, doing these, like, Ophelia-esque mad scenes where she kind of just says gibberish. And I thought that was not as strong a choice as what's here on screen. I think using these kind of metaphors about drug abuse and domestic abuse are much more powerful and interesting. And in its way feels real, even though you don't really understand what it's all about. Yeah. But I think you're right, Vera, that just thinking about it as like she's the last of her kind and like she's kind of washed up here. Right. I feel like that's, for me, the best way of looking at it, where it just like feels right. It feels right. Even though you don't understand it, it feels right.
It's so tragic and amazing. But the drug metaphor, it does chemical stuff to your brain that literally like make you a different person. So I guess we can...
It's very possible to not recognize people and to not remember.
Yeah. Well, Michael appears suddenly behind Aphrodite, and he raises his sword.
Yeah, he's just up in there.
He's gonna do it himself. What if he could do that himself? Why did he need Xena?
I guess at this point, Aphrodite is mortal enough to be killed. She can bleed.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
But I love that Xena... Michaels!
Oh, God.
She literally does it. She does the Michael of old.
I feel like that name is like the funniest out of her mouth for some reason. It's like there's no, I don't know, there's just something not like that. It's her regular accent or something has something to do with it because it's never Michael. It's always like, it's always, and well, it's not even that. It's even just saying it's always like Michael. It's like not, it's like something funny all the time. Thing. I don't know. It always makes me giggle every single time.
Because it has a K in it, like a K sound, and that's a literal, like, funny comedic sound.
True, like chicken. So, chicken is the funniest word
pickle.
Because we find K's funny.
It would be funny if his name was Kyle. Then she would just be like,
Kyle! Or Carl.
But it's never funny when she's like Aries, you know? It's never funny.
The emphasis is on the first syllable when she's saying it normally in a way that makes me chuckle.
Well, this was hilarious all around because Michael's at him, appears and does a hilarious round kick in her outfit.
Oh, yeah. And then accuses him of trying to have someone kill her daughter and then go after her girlfriends.
Yep.
Okay.
This, again, in another episode, I would be delighted by this, but in this queerbaiting episode, it felt like really
She just meant her
pandering.
female friends. Literally.
That's annoying.
I just feel like Aphrodite is not her girlfriend. Like, they have not really had any shippy moments. So it felt very...
But she respects that Aphrodite's the girlfriend of her girlfriend.
Okay.
So
yeah, the girlfriend of my girlfriend is my girlfriend. Everybody knows that old saying.
Yep. Okay, things to note here. Lucy, man. some ab action.
Yeah.
Hey.
They're
definitely present during this fight.
I see that core work happening.
She's been working on it.
Yeah. It was pretty impressive. I know we go on and on about Renee all the time, but like, it's out in this one.
Yeah.
Damn.
She ripped.
Okay, we can move on.
I really love during this fight with Michael that they keep cutting back to Gabs watching. And
Oh
kind
my
of
God.
doing the like backseat drive fighting.
No,
she's like bouncing there, like
Yeah.
mirroring
Oh, that's true, that's
the fighting poses.
I would say she was doing that thing like when you play a video game and you move with it.
Yeah.
Like you can't really do
Yeah, you're
anything, but like you're still as if you
still
can.
want to do it. Wants to help.
Yeah. There's some really good like sound effects for when Xena punches his breastplate.
What's the sound there?
It's like a hand punching metal, and I was like, ouch. Yeah.
Xena will be fine.
It's some really great like Zoe, stuff, like real good. Not like high Zoe, like real good.
Like,
just
yeah, you just
Xena body
you can
stuff.
feel she's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You feel her presence. So then you get this part where Xena flips Michael into the pool.
Right.
And this is drama. This is pretty amazing. I love the close-ups of his wings getting wet.
Oh yeah, it's always
They're all
funny.
wet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, after Xena puts the pinch on him and is sort of, like, half drowning him, I love that Gabs is freaking out in the background, being like, oh my god, Xena, no, stop it. Like, you can't be doing this to an angel. And it's true, it does feel somehow blasphemous and wrong in a way that it wouldn't if she were, like, choking out Ares or putting the pinch on him, for that matter, which she just did.
Gabs has been really, like, being like, Xena, don't murder, stop. Like, I feel like recently, like, whenever Xena goes a little bit
Goes too
overboard,
far.
remember Psycho, sex addict. Like, yeah, Gabs has been, like, up on her ass about it. Like, stop murdering. Like, don't do it. You don't need to do this. So, like, this is another example.
Even though Michael is terrible this episode and probably deserves this.
But I don't mind her doing the pinch because it's like
It's a pinch.
she does it all the time.
Like she says to Michael, you know the drill.
Yeah, but this is like extra where she puts his head underwater with the pinch on.
Yeah.
And you also get the sense that she really doesn't care about taking the pinch off.
Yeah.
She's fine with this. But he does talk. He spills the beans. He explains that he wasn't trying to kill Gabrielle, like, in his charging in with a sword. He was trying to kill Aphrodite.
And you get these great reaction shots of Aphrodite, like, listening to this, like, real good acting.
He says he can't allow Caligula to become a full god.
Why did you just do this in the first place?
She wasn't, I guess, mortal enough.
Yeah, he needed to suck out more of her godhood.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but I mean, I agree. I have a lot of questions about just the whole timing and sequence of events. It does to me feel like Michael did not need to do this. Like, Xena was on it. She's taken care of the job.
Dances. She's like stalling. It's not fast enough, man.
Michael is just interfering for no reason, and it's annoying. He's like that, micromanager boss where you're just like, fuck, if you stop leaning over my shoulder, I could actually get my work done.
He is micromanaging here, yeah, big time.
I also love, Vera, you were really into this, like, Gabs's reaction shot when Michael starts giving out all this information. She, like, holds her head being like, oh my god, this is, like, too much information.
And I'm
She
confused.
did that.
It hurts my brain.
Yeah, no, it was so funny. Also, we didn't talk about her fingerless gloves.
Oh, yeah, they
They were pretty cool.
Very Madonna.
Yeah. So...
I missed them.
Yeah, she had him in that. I mean, she's had him, I guess,
Were
since
they for
doing
the
her for
dancing
the
to hold the
for
candles?
dance. Yeah.
Oh no, maybe that's why I blocked it out.
So then Xena's like, I've got one more question for you. What happens to angels when they die? Which totally seems like some sort of angsty poem.
This was the same line as from X-Men.
Oh, the terrible
the
one.
storm line
no.
where she's like, what happens to toads who get electrocuted or something?
I think it's like when they die. It's literally the same.
It's so stupid.
So hit by lightning.
Yeah, when they're hit by lightning. Same thing that happens to everything else.
That's
so
infamous.
bad.
That's an infamous line from X-Men's because it was a holdover of a Joss Whedon line. that was supposed to be delivered real, like, flip and sarcastic, but was delivered very seriously.
Dramatically by Oscar-winning actress Halle Berry. Oh, yeah.
To be fair, though, Joss
It's
Whedon's
also a stupid
lines,
line.
you need to be directed to do that.
Yeah.
She pushes him under the water again, and suddenly the divine beam of light hits her. And this is really good. It, like, rips her god powers away.
It's like, it's really hurting.
Violent.
Yeah, it hurts. Like, this was not how, like, when she got him, like, it didn't.
Right, it was like a blessing.
Yeah, and when it got, it was
actually
away.
Michael who gave them to her, right? You see him there being like, hi, doing
I thought it was Eli. It's always been, like, the Eli beam of light.
It was definitely the Eli beam of light when it saved Livia / Eve. But I feel like when she got the powers, I was, like, on the beach while Eve was being baptized. And that was, like, remember it was Michael's face in a beam.
Yeah, but he represents,
Eli
the boss.
/ God.
Yeah, well, I guess. I don't know. Is it, like, if Eli's it's hard. Because doesn't he have a dad as well who's, like,
God?
the Lord?
Yeah. Father, Son, Holy Ghost?
Right. But he's Jesus, but he's also God, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I'm glad we covered that.
So Eli, I always thought that Eli was, like, the beam and, like, he controlled that stuff.
Yeah.
Especially here, because there's two, like, it's not like Michael's doing
No,
this.
Michael clearly isn't doing it. Michael's saved by the bell. Whoever the bell is.
It's Eli.
Or the god of love who Eli worships. Or both, since they're the same person, maybe.
No. What? No, Eli is, like, the one who's doing the beam.
I guess, but does that mean Eli was the person who granted her the powers in the first place?
Yeah.
They're from Eli, not from the god of love. Or is...
Oh, okay.
Should I not be
Same
making
thing.
this distinction?
No, you're right. You're right.
Because the show is
the god of
doing
love
this
is
thing with
the
Eli.
boss.
Somehow I, just for personal reasons, don't want it to be Eli who's taking her powers away because it is a bitch move. I guess I want it to be the god of love.
Yeah, it's that. I got confused because, like,
I'm
Eli
ashamed
talks about
of
love.
Eli for doing this, even though it's probably the right thing to do.
No,
she's like going on a rampage.
It's
But at the same
Michael's...
time, Michael is misbehaving. He's sort of, I don't know, he's kind of styling himself like he's a free agent, though he's clearly not. He's clearly still serving
He's
the
serving the god of love,
but he's
like,
doing it in a way that's very morally shady.
Yeah, but clearly he's, like, has the right to do so because when he's beamed up, he's like, ha ha ha.
Right.
Like, I win.
I win. My god just beat you.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a really, like, intense moment for the show because this is, in a way, the final beat of the Christianity arc. And it's definitely painting it in a negative light. Like, after everything that these characters have been through, you have Xena try to kill an agent of the god of love, an agent of Eli, and kind of get punished for it.
I mean, she was overstepping for personal reasons, not anything specific. Because, again, I say, like, he was getting the job done. He should have let her do it, but... Like, he's being shady, yeah, but he was going to get the job done.
I don't understand why the god of love, would want Aphrodite to be sacrificed. Like, that's
because
bad.
he's Christian.
Yeah,
he's
that's
the
true.
Christian god.
And she's our final immortal in play from the Greek pantheon.
Yeah, it's upsetting, and it's it makes total sense. And Xena should not be going around killing the agents of...
I disagree. I
he
think
didn't give her those powers
deserved
for that.
it.
Do you think he's
might think
being
that.
like a free agent, though? Like, he's just acting on his own?
It's definitely a little unclear, like, whose will he serves by doing the things he does in this specific episode.
Like, Archangel timelines, if you want to get
He's very manipulative, right.
But
obviously, angels can kind of do actions on their own that aren't necessarily God's will. See Lucifer.
Right, yeah. But, like... Do you think he's going to be beamed up and then he gets, like, in trouble with the boss up there being like, yo...
I think his characterization in this episode is definitely, like, the darkest we've seen him. Like, he only does things that are deeply antagonistic. And, I see the way he's manipulating Eve as cruel. Like, to me, that's not that is not the god of love as Eli talked about him. I don't know if you guys have
noticed, but the show Xena Warrior Princess plays pretty fast and loose with all of the real religions that we're talking about. And we're probably not going to find any direct, But
I actually think it's important that it's kind of changed its tune of Christianity, that went from seeming like the one religion that was going to sort of win. Right. And now we see that, if anything, it's just as manipulative and destructive as the Greek gods in their heyday.
A perfect way of putting it, because of what happens to Christianity when it takes off, and how that whole thing happens.
Boo.
Yeah, exactly.
And also Michael, I guess.
Well, whatever. So I guess the god of love rips the powers away from her because she oversteps by trying to kill his agent. But this was an amazing move from the script, because she's supposed to kill this god, and she was banking on
having god powers.
Yeah,
that's literally what she just told him. I'm a god. I have god powers. Yeah. Here they are. You're like, oh my god, she does have god powers. And the episode's like, psych, we just took them away.
Yeah. It does kind of feel convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah. The end of the day.
And
at this point, I don't know what that really means for what Michael told her to do. She literally can't do it. She doesn't have the powers anymore, but of course she's gonna find a way around that. Yeah, because she's Xena.
But this is great conflict. This is some good stuff.
This is juicy. Yeah. I should note that none of this is in that first draft of the script. She still has her powers.
Well, good. This is some good
and uses them to kill Caligula.
That's we get some Xena Gabs cuddles. And
oh my god, she gives her a head scoop as well.
Mm-hmm. I love to explain the head scoop, because I love the term.
Straightforward.
Yeah, it's like when
you scoop with your fingers,
both hands on the head, and you scoop it.
You just scoop it up, into your arms, into your bosom,
wherever
you feel like scooping it. It's good though. Okay, then Caligula marches in,
and it's just like, where are you, lady? I gotta kiss you.
Yeah, and he gives her a very bad kiss, and it is very straight up rape imagery, and it's great.
It's very
upsetting.
I'm gonna throw a coin in, Vera.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that she has her, her eyes are closed, then they're open. She's watching this happen. It's so disturbing.
Yeah, it feels very violating.
Yeah. And Xena reacts this by going, no! And she kicks him, but it's too late.
Too late. He did the kiss already.
He did it.
I love that he misconstrues the kiss as a jealous outburst.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, look at me. And he does this hilarious flip.
Oh, yeah.
This was
flip fly across the room situation.
The wire work here did not
the best.
So good.
But then again, I mean, when you see his god powers in actions, he's such a flop.
Yeah.
They're not impressive. Yeah. And that's part of why I guess I roll my eyes at everything Michael says, because he's all fear this man. When he's a god, he'll be the worst. And then you see him and you're like, Callisto was better as a god than this guy is.
I have so many questions because, Callisto got her god powers from...
Oh my god.
Remind me.
She ate the golden apple
that
to
was
become
immortality.
Immortal.
And the ambrosia.
And
okay, that's
the ambrosia.
That's fine. That's mysterious thing makes you god. You have generic god powers. Fine, perfect. This is when Rogue touches she gets the powers of whoever she touched. So he should be going around making people have crazy love spells.
He would love that.
Yeah, but he has crazy fireballs.
He clearly just hasn't mastered it yet.
But she doesn't
I'm sure it would turn into orgy powers for him.
What did in Fish Sticks her and Discord had
they have it.
So she does have fireballs.
She can do fireballs. Right. Every god on Xena can do fireballs.
Okay.
That's God 101.
Well, he can also apparate, and it's this was her apparition style with the glitter.
You get the little glitter.
Yeah.
I love that he's watch me, and he does the snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's out of the scene, and Xena and Gabs run back on Aphrodite to check on her, and this is where, she's back, right? So she goes, Gabrielle, I know we're close, but is this appropriate?
Dumb.
Yeah.
Immediately reaching for a coin. Yeah, it obviously is appropriate. When in Rome, for one thing.
I'm sad.
Yeah, it's such a bummer. I just like...
What a dumb line.
Yeah, that did not need to be there.
For this show, for this time.
For the goddess of love.
Yeah, oh my god.
Well, this is where I think
Who cares? What's
I don't know.
On?
Is it that like this show is like, we're cool with doing this for Xena and Gabs, but like no one else. Like,
that is sort of what it's saying.
Like that's crazy. But she does literally call Gabs.
Yes, I was amused to hear Gabs.
Yeah.
Gabs is canon. Yes, canon. But yeah, it's hard to be that happy about it when it comes on the heels of this queerbaiting line.
I know. Yeah,
that's like the anti.
Well, but it turns what happened before into queerbaiting.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but what like the whole characters, the two of them, etc. for previous episodes in this relationship. Oh man, I am upset. So Xena and Gabs help her up, and they ask her how she feels about Caligula, and she's like, Caligula, ew. So they know that the bond is broken.
That's for you.
Okay.
I have to say, this was too easy for me, because what was so juicy about this episode was the moral dilemma of you can't kill Caligula without killing Aphrodite, and now that they've just conveniently broken the bond with him being a god, like, I don't know. I was immediately kind of like crying foul on this episode's plotting, because this was like the one thing.
She should have died. You're saying like,
or just or something like they. To me, this feels like it's letting the characters off the hook because they don't have the hard choice.
Well,
anymore.
no, because like you were trying to root for her to remain a god. You were like, oh no, save Aphrodite, save her like the way that she is, and she's immortal now.
We lost the chance.
Yeah, and that was like a big deal. I was like, oh no, like she can't be a god anymore. Like that's a big deal. For me, the problem is like even this being like, ew, Caligula, like what were you doing here in Rome originally? You should have been like you did this willingly. Know. Like what is going on?
Know. It's very mysterious.
Ugh. And she's like, whatever, guys, I'm getting us out of here. And she tries her snap to apparate them away, and she can't. Wah. So Xena goes back to the dungeon. Eve gives her the biggest eye roll ever. Like, her eyes roll to the back of her skull.
Right, she's trying, like, honey, are you okay? And he's like, oh.
I know. Oh, why don't you let me sacrifice myself, Mom? Like, Jesus.
I love her line, it wasn't the punch that hurt.
Wow.
Ares still has no shirt, just in case you're wondering. Yeah, Xena reports that Aphrodite has her mind back, but she's lost her immortality.
She says, I'm your mother, and I will die before I let Caligula touch a hair on your head.
I mean, Eve was really stupid. Like, she was literally just gonna, like, die.
Yeah, it was fucking reason. It wouldn't have achieved anything.
So Xena was right. Like, that was like a dumb move.
She was manipulated by Michael into doing it. Yeah, this just makes Eve look a little stupid. It must be said.
But it sounds like at some point she will sacrifice herself,
but
and like be
hopefully
Saint Eve.
It'll be in a way that at least achieves a goal of some kind, and not just for the sake of doing it.
Clearly, like meant to be a martyr, which is kind of like upsetting.
It is upsetting. Yeah, like, it's very upsetting.
Path,
considering how much Xena went through to try to save her and help her.
Yikes.
So yeah, I mean, it's kind of going off that. Eve says, "You can't protect me from all the cruelty in the world, Mother." And then Xena has this funny line. She says, it's funny you should say that. And we hard cut to Saba dragging Eve through the streets.
Yeah, this is really good. She also told them that she lost her immortality, or she lost her god-killing powers.
So what is she going to do?
Yeah, exactly. So she's dragging Eve around here, and the crowd is like, cool with this. They tie Eve to a stake and set up the rules that whoever wins this chariot race gets to kill Eve.
You mentioned the crowd. The crowd is important through this whole final sequence. We haven't really seen like the public during this episode, but like the historical Caligula had a complicated relationship with his public, as Katie was saying, and I like that the episode has a little bit of that with the way they react to him here. First, they're so on board. Later, they turn against him.
So it's chariot race.
Yeah. This is impressive.
I think this is a really
the most impressive
dramatic sequence. Yeah, I mean, this was putting me in mind of like the Callisto horse chase. Like
horse chase won. Their chariot chase was stupid.
No, I didn't like the chariot chase so much. Yeah. But yeah, horse chase.
Was like, and also obviously this is better than actual episode about chariots.
Oh,
number 2.
Chariots of War.
Yeah. I mean, they had chariots.
Come on,
they had some chariots.
It just looks good. Like,
yeah, this really is like job. Fantastic.
My favorite part about all this is you just get like every possible angle, you can think of for a chariot race. Yeah. You get above, you get below, you get like shot from like within the crowd.
You get shot from the crowd from a balcony.
Right.
Like literal God shot, like above, like from a very much above.
You get the shots like where the camera is like in the chariot behind, shooting the chariot ahead. I thought those were really cool. Like these sort of like horse point of view shots.
Yeah. And there's some slow-mo.
Very nice slow-mo.
Yes, these beautiful horses. And I think my favorite is actually like the idea of the geography here, where they start from like within the city, they chase through the city, like the path of the arena. I don't even know, the road.
It's like just the road out.
Yeah. I guess it's the route of the chariot. Yeah. And so then they get out of there. They go away from the city walls into whatever that area is, and then come back in. And that was really noticeable. And you got
spatially, you totally understood where they were in the race at all times, and also understood just where they were in relation to each other.
Yeah.
You do a really good job of like building the suspense, like, oh, Xena's almost there, oh, she's pulling ahead, oh no, she's behind again. Yeah.
I didn't really get like some of that stuff, or how she even like pulled ahead. Like it didn't make any sense.
Charioting.
But he throughout the whole thing, he's doing that thing where he's like throwing fireballs, and
nothing.
Because he's just like, ooh, exciting! I've got powers, and then he does that thing that Callisto did with trying to like ram the car into the other car.
Everybody does that in a chariot race, and it doesn't work.
And Xena's like, methinks my lord enjoys the sport a little too much.
You got it, babe.
Yep.
Says Caligula.
Methinks.
Yeah.
She said methinks.
Oh yeah, methinks.
So once they make it back, he's ahead, and you're like, this makes sense. He's a god, and he's, I don't know, good at chariots.
He's got chariot powers now.
I guess. But once they make it into the city, she pulls ahead. There's these like TJ style zooms, I thought, on her face, like that reminded me of the season 4 opener, whatever that, I forget the name of it.
When she's on the horse.
Yes. So they did some of those zooms on her there. And he's trying to keep up, and he does this like crazy, he has a crazy chariot accident here.
Yeah, he just goes up on a ramp by accident.
And, like one wheel goes over. And it flips over. There was a really good stunt on the guy who, did the stunt of like him landing and rolling. That was in slow-mo, I thought. Yeah. That was really good.
Yeah, and you just it really feels like they've been racing these chariots and this chariot crashed. Like,
and you follow up with
very visceral. Yeah. They're not like cutting around it. Like, you see everything.
Yeah. The whole thing is just so, we've said it's impressive, but it's fucking impressive. Yeah. Like, the editing of the whole thing as well.
Yeah. They clearly had so much footage.
So much footage. It was, you know what? It was like Mad Max Fury Road style.
Ooh, I really like that comparison.
Many angles on everything. Yeah. So many cuts.
Yeah, you're just like, whoa!
Yeah, it was
it's like music.
Yeah,
you feel like you get every note.
Hella impressive. And then they finished it off with like having Caligula's chariot like come to a stop, like crashing into whatever the curd of cheese and stuff like that. So Xena wins. She runs up onto the steps where Eve is tied to the stake. This is where you get this amazing shot of her billowing cape.
Mm-hmm.
It looks
which is
really
maybe
good.
Velvet, but maybe not.
Cheap fabric. So he's like, okay, fine. I guess you're the one who gets to spill, the Elysian's blood. And she's like, okay.
I've been waiting for this opportunity a long time, but it won't be her blood I'm spilling today.
What?
And then she takes off her mask.
Yeah, she takes off her mask, and then Gabs is like,
cracked me up.
That's Xena. That's Xena, warrior princess. The audience gasps. And I like Caligula here because he like genuinely is like, Xena, huh? I know that name.
He doesn't have Xena, Gary around.
Yeah, Gary's not there.
In his ear. Who's Xena again?
And he's like, Xena. Ah, Xena, Slayer of the gods. Oh my god.
No.
Oh.
Xena also reminds him that not only is she Xena, warrior princess, slayer of gods, she's also the mother of the girl he called the whore of Rome.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Mother of Dragons sounds so much better than that. So she draws her sword, and he starts freaking out. He's like, maybe we can negotiate the terms of the prize. And she's like, nope. And then she kicks him down the steps, and then the crowd starts chanting, Xena.
Right, they've turned on Caligula
Xena.
now. Because clearly they kind of style Xena as this sort of folk hero for Rome. Whenever she appears, they're like, oh yeah, she was in that arena that one time. It was really cool.
This is the shot that has the lady who's like got some crazy makeup going on. Like powdered bananas.
I called her, she looked like Bette Midler in Hocus Pocus, but like mixed with like Effie Trinket. Yeah, there was actually a lot
that makes sense for a Roman person.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of like crazy capital from Hunger Games stuff. Yeah, and then the crowd like, starts off being like, as you said, pro him, but then they like turn on him like the crowd in Game of Thrones turning on Joffrey. And he honestly was very Joffrey-ish.
Xena did win.
Yeah, you're right. He absolutely. I mean, I think Joffrey is probably based on characters
Caligula?
Sort of like Caligula.
Yeah, I guess he's like
That's
crazy sex stuff and like sadist and stuff like that. Or did his enemies write that?
Yeah, but sort of spoiled by power.
Joffrey's nice, really. Allegedly, he's a monster.
But yeah, what I like about this sequence, which is very problematic, the whole thing hinges on Xena telling a character to kill himself, and he does. I like that in the end, what's most persuasive, in a way, is the crowd. The crowd turning on him.
Yeah, and then
you feel like that puts him in this like really vulnerable emotional state that she can work on.
I mean, yeah, he does that thing where he's like, he's a small man. Like, he literally becomes small. I mean, he's already, like, short.
Like Ming Tian, right?
Make small. Yeah, for sure. And then that's how you do it, is by turning the people against him. And he tells him, like, I am your emperor. And, as Tywin Lannister said, you are no king if you have to say,
Can you tell that we've been watching Game of Thrones?
We are doing Game of Thrones rewatch. But also everybody should constantly be watching Game of Thrones.
So wait, what about Tywin Lannister?
Well, he tells Joffrey that if you have to say, I am your king, you are no king. So, like, he's like, I'm your emperor, I allow you to worship me. Like, he's no emperor. Like,
he completely loses them at that point. Even though he still has the powers of a god, he may as well be powerless.
Oh, yeah, he tries to get, like, a fireball, and Xena just, like, kicks it out of his hand.
Yeah.
And that was such a good, like...
put it out!
Yeah, it was
put
really
out that
cool.
light!
Like, it, like, rolls off, and you can see, like, the scorch in the sand from it. It's really cute. So we see this small girl in the crowd, and we keep looking at her, and then... Like, why are we cutting back to this fucking little girl?
Who's this girl?
And she takes out, what was that, tomato?
It was a tomato.
The tomato from her, like, pocket and throws it at him. So, wah.
I just love that she carries around a tomato for this express purpose. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to the chariot race today. I better take a tomato.
I know.
If no one does anything embarrassing, it'll be my lunch.
So, yeah, Xena tells him that, he can get his name written in the Pantheon by...
But only by, if he allows Xena to kill him, he'll be an embarrassment. But if he takes control over his own narrative and kills himself, he'll be remembered. It
doesn't make a lot of
strange logic.
Yeah. She gives him the sword, and she's like, Caligula, kill yourself, and says stuff like, do it. I understand you.
Yeah, this is a strange moment where she in like this like really strong voice, she's like, do it. And then very softly, she just like throws in there like, I understand you.
Yeah.
And if you read Lucy Lawless's interviews, she added this. This was an ad lib, the I understand you. And it seems to have been something she really arrived at by working closely with Alexis Arquette and Garth Maxwell, and she had such a great time working with them. This seems to have been one of her most like rewarding experiences on Xena, like doing the character work that allowed her to arrive at this moment where she pitied Caligula. And I kind of get it, because, I mean, Caligula is this as a historical figure, again, like, mostly sculpted by his enemies, but you think of this, as a forever antagonist, so that she can look this particular character in the face in this moment. She's urging him to kill himself, and she pities him, and she has revulsion for herself for doing this, for sort of taking advantage of this character's vulnerability and trauma to, like, make this moment happen. It's a really interesting performance, I think, of Lucy's.
I mean, Lucy also said that she felt character development for Xena here, like how she hasn't felt since the fire scene in Callisto, which is upsetting because it's like, oh my God. What? But like I personally, connected with her being like, I understand you because of, I've been joking around like how there's
she's
all this
a murderer,
sex addict.
Sex
addict. But that's true. Like I could see her getting in his head because like she is very similar to him. And I
also love that you brought up that moment from the Ring trilogy where she hears the people laughing at her, which is exactly what is happening IRL for Caligula right now, the crowd turning on him.
Do you think she remembers, like, once she becomes Xena? I don't know.
But it felt like a deeply embedded psychological fear, not having people's respect.
But she's been, like, suicidal and stuff like that before, so she has this, I don't know, maybe, like, connected with her seeing this guy.
It's a horrible thing to do to anyone, obviously, to encourage them to do this.
Yeah.
It feels evil. I mean, it's not the way you want to see your heroic character, especially because this particular character, Caligula, has had these moments of sympathy, particularly that scene where he hears his mother.
Yeah.
So to see her, taking advantage of his mental illness, perhaps, like in the same way that I was accusing Michael of earlier.
But it's interesting, like, she didn't care, about Lucifer in Heart of Darkness. So she basically did the same thing to him.
This is basically the same plot
but, like,
as that.
She felt bad
because Emily Skopov seems to love
that. But this guy is a schmo. You can tell he's a schmo.
Yeah, but in the end, he doesn't deserve this.
He's like a privileged dude who like did some stuff allegedly.
I mean, he clearly made a lot of bad choices, but you feel like this man is very much a product of the decadent late imperial society that he is inside, and Rome ain't great, and we know that Xena hates Rome most of all, and I think in this moment she sort of hates Rome for his sake too. Like, this is what Rome does to people. It breaks people.
Well, he stabs himself and spits out globs.
Gross.
Oh yeah, blood. So much mouth blood.
Oh my God.
Realistic.
Yeah. And again, like, I think the acting here is fantastic.
It's really moving. Yeah,
it is. It is a moving really
scene.
Good.
I'm slightly boggled by Lucy saying that this is like, the most in tune with things she's felt since Callisto, but at the same time,
it's a long gap between then and now.
At the same time, I mean, it is a great moment, and I think for any actor, it's a challenge to try to find a way through such a horrifying scenario, and I think she does a good job of just finding that, finding the humanity in this moment.
And they do this fiery effect over him falling.
It's really weird.
It was really weird.
I feel like something must have happened in the edit. Like, they didn't have the right shot of him falling over, so they had to cover that.
Quick! What can we do?
Fire wipe. Just get that fire wipe in there.
So once that's over.
She has a line. This is a good line. Yeah. I like this one. The only person in Rome who could kill Caligula is Caligula.
Yeah, which I'm going to say the only person who can kill Xena is Xena.
Whoa.
Put a pin in it.
Oh, whoa. That's a big pin. Okay.
I mean, not really, because she gets killed a lot, but she, ultimately.
I was about to say,
you know what I mean?
So many times. How many? 1, 2, 3. There's a lot.
But she stays dead because of Xena.
Dude.
We're not there yet. We're so close, but we're not there yet. Then you have a final great overhead shot in an episode full of overhead shots of all the people in this village square kind of massing around the body of Caligula, which is lying face down. And it feels like, toppling a statue of a tyrant.
So now it's a little bit more intimate. We're back in the castle where everybody has like changed and cleaned up and whatever. It starts with this like vertigo shot of Xena and Gabs in front of like this fire.
Not necessary.
Candle
but
lantern thing.
I noticed that too.
Yeah.
I guess it's a little unbalanced.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
everybody's not feeling great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Gabs asks how Xena's feeling, and she says
Dirty.
dirty. Yeah, maybe somebody should scrub her foot.
Oh, no. And then Gabs has maybe even a more upsetting line than she's, I feel dirty. She's like, there's nothing you could do. He was evil.
Yeah, weird.
Gabs, we could say that about Hope.
Yeah, Gabs.
That was a bananas thing for her, Gabrielle.
Gabs
to say.
season 6 needs to sit down with Gabs season 3 and have a conversation.
It's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then Xena immediately comes back with, no, he was damaged. He wasn't evil.
Because she's damaged, not evil.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
about Xena.
This is a moment where they needed Xena to say that line, so they needed Gabs to say the other line. But it's like, Gabs would not say that.
I know.
It feels very wrong.
She's mad about.
She said that
Aphrodite,
about Livy as well.
That's true. I mean, yeah, Gabs has.
But that was that was like weird Hope related issues.
Obviously, Gabs' character has changed over the years. It's hard to imagine this essential belief in her would ever change, but it is interesting to see sort of her being the one who says like, no, people don't change, and Xena being like, yes, they are, because it is a reversal of their early dynamic.
So then you cut to Aphrodite and Ares. They're on the bed.
I actually really love how they do this cut. Mm-hmm. It's a very simple little thing where you hear Aphrodite saying "it's not fair" before it cuts to her, so you just hear her voice over Xena and Gabs. Yeah, an L cut.
Yeah.
And like at first you think "it's not fair" is kind of about what they're talking about. It's not fair is what Gabs just said about him being evil. It's not fair is that Xena had to do this horrible thing in the first place. So I really like how that's layered.
Yeah, but it's not
about
fair
that
because she's mortal now.
She can't teleport. That's what's not fair.
She's back in her pink stuff, and Ares has a shirt where he has his vest back, and he's like laying down there, and he's just like
moping.
Join the club, sis.
I do love the blocking that he is just straight up having a nap.
While all the ladies are like gabbing away. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Aphrodite's like, hey, Gabs, I think I heard you mention 13,000 times that you're my friend. So, did you mean that? And Gabs says, absolutely.
I know.
But only my friend.
But only friends.
Aww. But then she does this, like, eyebrow, like, wriggle at her at the end of that.
Trying to save it, I think. Renee doing her utmost to save the ship that this episode has really tried to sink. But Aphrodite also has that sweet line where she's like, how cloyingly sentimental, but very appreciated.
Yeah, sweet. Xena gathers everyone, and they're like, okay, it's time for us to leave this episode. And everybody gets up. First it's like Xena with Gabs and Eve like around her arms. And then behind them it's Aphrodite and Ares. So we have like the two final little beats with each of these groups.
Xena cuddling her
two gals.
Her two precious things.
Her girlfriends?
Those are her girlfriends? Her daughter?
Wait. Sorry. I thought we were still talking about Aphrodite. No. I lost the plot. You can keep that in, though.
Sure.
She says, Eve asks her if she's sorry to lose her greatest gift, the power to kill gods. And Xena's like, nah, like, you're my greatest gift, you and Gabs.
Oh my god, and she says life will be spicier without it.
All right, spicier.
That's weird. Yeah, I hated that greatest gifts line.
I didn't like it either.
It's extremely cheesy.
Yeah,
it actually really reminded me of the final line in A Heart of Darkness, which I also didn't like.
Oh, man.
Which also had this sort of insincere, I'm
wrapping up this episode.
Yeah, real.
Yeah, it just sort of feels, unearned somehow.
Yeah, like why is she saying this right at this moment?
Just why not? But then what is cute, though, you didn't like it, right?
I thought
it was
hilarious.
cute.
Like, hilarious.
The sibling horse playing behind them between Ares and Aphrodite.
It's like Aphrodite, like, punches him in the shoulder, and then he, like, fake, like, I'm going to punch you back kind of thing. And I was like, are you guys 12? Like, are you guys 12 years old humans?
It's a sweet touch, though, especially in an episode where you've seen this brotherly side of Ares. He's really put himself on the line to try to help her. So it's nice to see them, like, enjoying each other's company.
Okay. I liked it. I liked after that ridiculous horseplay stopped and he just, like, wraps his arm around her. And it's a feels moment. Nice. It's a feels moment then.
So, yeah, this episode, I mean, it's got a lot going on. It's definitely not perfect, but no. I feel like, I am really moved by parts of it. Yeah. I think a lot of it is Alexis Arquette's performance.
Yeah, it was surprising how good it was, I would say.
Yeah, I really think so. And the Aphrodite stuff, which even though it doesn't make a ton of sense, is when it's done well, it's really powerful.
I'm sure a good fake could fix it all. Yeah. Like retcon it.
And even the stuff that's really incoherent, like about like what Michael's up to in Christianity, I think that was the right choice to like make all of those things.
I like it becoming more sinister. Like, 'cause it's important. Like, the whole point of season 6 was to move you out of a certain status quo into like a new direction, which is how the world was happening, like, or mirror that kind of idea. So you'd start with like Eli's God and the power of love and stuff like that, and then
there's a catch.
It kind of becomes sinister at a certain point,
and you wish in a way that, like, if they'd committed to Eve as a character, this would actually be really a compelling situation for her to be in, to be committed to this religion that you begin to see the like darker side of. Yeah,
or have like an Eve spin-off or something, then you would really explore Christianity, like kind of as it becomes and evolves. Was this the last we see of Aphrodite?
No. Okay. She'll be in next week.
That's what I was referencing. I was referencing that earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they'll actually do a little more, with kind of with her powers.
But it is the last time we saw a Greek god, so that's it for them. They're no longer gods.
For now.
It's like, you don't know what's happening. It's cute.
I don't remember. I don't. It kind of ruins it then.
But it does. I mean, I agree with you that basically it does feel like the end of an era.
Yeah. It's supposed
for Rome
to.
too, in a way. Yeah, like, unlike some of the previous Rome episodes, we don't have like a successor waiting in the wings that we've met in this episode. So it kind of feels like Rome has just destroyed itself, like quite literally, with Caligula killing himself.
Yeah. Wow. Deep.
Yeah. On that note.
Yeah. Gosh. So we have dropped a new episode of Lucy Lawless IMDb Experience on Patreon. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and listen to that if you haven't already.
Yeah, so we're talking about the X-Files.
The X-Files.
Yeah. And what else?
That's it. You can follow us on all the stuff and things.
We're on the internet, xenawarriorpodcast.com. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, where you can subscribe and rate and leave reviews. We are on Twitter at XenaWarriorPod, and on Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram, Xena Warrior Podcast.
The power.
The passion.
The podcast.